Hey guys, how are you all? Welcome back to my channel. Today we will see what if neglected Naruto is the reincarnation of Hagoromo. Part 2. If you enjoy it then please like, share and do comments. Naruto-sama, 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 Naruto-sama. Fuck. It's weird that the word fuck can sum up any bad situation. Used a Rinnegan technique that weakened your vitality and put you in a coma for 2 days? Fuck. Hearing the constant chanting of your name at 7 in the morning after a long set of days? Fuck. It was the perfect word for bad situations. At least these days, according to Kurama's Jinchuriki. Naruto blearily opened his eyes and blinked several times at the constant Naruto-sama coming from all around him. It was so loud, and it made sense considering Naruto could feel at least 200 people were out there chanting in sync. The Rinnegan news spread more like sunlight than a wildfire because this was way too fast for the word to get out and have people this crazy. It was getting more annoying to keep hearing his name, but Naruto had patience. Hagoromo's memories helped with that since he'd lived through times like this. So yes, Naruto was patient and didn't even get higher than a mild irritation at what was going on. But Naruto wasn't the only one having to hear the chanting. The other person wasn't as patient as Naruto. And they let their agitation be known. For fuck's sake, shut them up. Naruto's eyes snapped wide at that angry shout for 2 reasons. 1. Tayuya yelled it, and the sudden noise shocked the system. And 2. The person yelling it happened to be lying next to him with their mouth right by his ear. Fuck it, I'll do it myself, said Tayuya sitting up quickly. Tayuya reached over Naruto to grab her flute before sitting up on her knees and bringing the flute to her mouth. A beautiful tune emitted from the flute as Naruto could see it was a genjutsu. A feeble one because Naruto didn't even have to dispel it. Naruto could fight off its effects even before he had the Rinnegan. It wasn't meant for him. It was for the 200 plus people outside that Naruto could feel were slowly but surely falling asleep. The people outside are civilians. They can't fight this genjutsu even if it is weak, thought Naruto, hearing the chanting get lower and lower until it was non-existent. Fucking dumbasses. He's not a god just because of some stupid ass eyes, said Tayuya, dropping her head right back on the mattress with a thud and keeping her flute handy in case they started back up. Tayu. Shut the fuck up, shouted Tayuya before calming back down and speaking quietly. He wasn't the issue, so she didn't mean to yell, but she still wanted silence. I stayed up trying to get your dumbass off the bed and haven't got much sleep. I need some sleep, but, shut up. What Tayuya didn't know or care about was what Naruto did know and care about very much. When Tayuya first awoke, she and Naruto merely slept side by side. The only way possible on his little bed. Well, Tayuya had to reach over Naruto to get to her flute, and by doing so, she ended up straddling him in the process. She never unstraddled him when she slammed her head back down on the bed, which meant she was entirely on him. Did Naruto ever tell you that Tayuya was hot? Because if he hadn't made it obvious before, he wanted it to be known that Tayuya was very hot. The movie always ends the same way with a hot girl plus teen boy multiplied by intimate position. And Tayuya felt that ending prod against her. Stop talking. Naruto cared as he teleported out of there and right into a cold shower. He didn't have time for this. He knew Tayuya cared, and she'd likely kick his ass later when she had the energy because he stayed longer than he should have. Curse his curiosity as a growing boy and how nice she felt using him as a pillow. His inevitable beating would have been way worse had he stayed and tried to enjoy what was happening. So, he quickly dismissed himself to the bathroom to get started with his day. He had a lot of things to get to today. One of those things was Tayuya eventually because of the auto thing, but he'd save that for much later. He'd let her get her sleep now as he got ready to leave and begin handling some of the things on his list. Sometime later. Hello, Naruto-sama. Please shake my hand, Naruto-sama. Look at them. They're there, the Rinnegan. Have my baby. Here are some flowers. Naruto walked through Konoha, and his patience was slowly waning. Much like his sanity. A month ago and every day that preceded it, he'd been ignored for the most part by the residents who called Konoha home. A week or so ago, he had a few people cheering him for his performance in the Chunin exam and his known defeat of the Ichibi. Now, he was more popular than the man who'd lead them as their kage for over 4 decades. It was becoming a bit too much for the Jinchuriki to handle. Okay, Hagoromo didn't go through this at 13. And the person who asked me to have their baby was a dude. Thought Naruto internally while keeping a smile and shaking hands as he slowly made his way to the Hokage's office to speak. Even if I rolled that way, that's not possible. Surrogate could happen, but whatever, it doesn't matter. That won't happen, and this will die down. Hopefully, sooner than later. Naruto eventually did make it to his destination despite the constant and massive wave of people impeding him on his journey. He smiled and waved until the doors closed, and he was finally safe inside the building. Fuck, the perfect word for bad situations showed itself again. Naruto took a calming breath now that he was temporarily free before looking to the greeter seated at the entrance of the Hokage's tower. Hey, crazy traffic today, isn't it? Not for me, I had an easy time getting here, spoke the old woman with closed eyes and a smile on her face. Naruto frowned, hearing the snarky reply, and shook his head before making his way upstairs to Hirizen's office. Have a good day, Naruto-kun. Thank you, Ba-chan. Shouted back Naruto, giving her a quick smile before getting to where he needed to be at the moment. He was glad she didn't call him Sama, like everyone else. He was still just Naruto. Walking through the doors after greeting the Hokage's secretary, Naruto saw Hirizen, decked out in Hokage garbs, smiling at him. Yo Gigi. Good morning. Hello, Naruto-sama, said Hirizen, getting Naruto to frown at hearing that from the old man. Hirizen immediately put up placating hands. I'm just playing Naruto-kun, but Yamanaka Ino told me to tell you that payback's a. Well, I'm sure you know how that phrase ends. Ino-chan? Payback's a no. There's no way, thought Naruto, realizing what was going on. If the news of his Rinnegan was supposed to spread like wildfire, then Ino became gasoline that got it going. She must have told everyone herself, and that's why people were outside my door this morning and crazy already. Naruto began to laugh, remembering Ino said she'd be getting him back. Even if it was inadvertently this good, it was still intended, and it got Naruto to laugh a bit harder. I'm so going to get revenge. Oh, yes, I am. Hirizen stood watching Naruto and began to laugh nervously when Naruto's laughter started to turn downright sinister. Ino did indeed go out and spread the news of Naruto's Rinnegan yesterday while the boy slept. Pretty impressive how she managed to get all the information to everyone in Konoha so fast. The girl had talent, but she forgot one thing: Naruto was the undisputed prank king. The boy had no equal. Naruto painted the Hokage monument in broad daylight and didn't get caught until finished. The scary thing was, he did that before he had the Rinnegan. What the hell would he do now? Yamanaka Ino's shoulder chose to twitch very harshly at that moment, which she found odd for its randomness. Naruto-kun, you have a big day ahead of you, said Hirizen, getting Naruto to stop scaring him with his villainous guffawing. Right, should be fun, I hope, spoke Naruto, looking at the old cage with a grin and thumbs up. I'm guessing you already got stuff started? I have. Follow me if you would. Naruto did as requested. They walked for a while before stepping through a door Naruto recognized as the large conference room. Within, Chunin and Jonin level shinobi of Konoha sat and talked until Hirizen and Naruto opened the door. They all bowed to their leader before turning their eyes to Naruto, who awkwardly waved at being the center of attention. Sup everybody, said Naruto, getting a few waves and a couple of sups right back. Naruto then scanned the room and saw some familiar faces. The genin in my class who all graduated are here too. Ino's smirking, thought Naruto, smirking back, which got Ino's shoulder to twitch again. Yes, I will be getting revenge. Don't you worry your pretty little head. Wait, I can hear him? Questioned Ino as Naruto smiled. Can you hear me? No, I can't, Ino-chan. The mind reader grimaced. She put together the earlier twitch, figuring that Naruto first learned what she did. And now she could feel the revenge he'd get would be deadly based on his ominous smirk. She shouldn't have played back. Naruto smiled, seeing she realized that before looking at Hirizen. The man merely motioned him to start, so Naruto turned to the shinobi gathered. I don't know where to begin, so, any questions? A wave of hands rose from just about everyone in attendance as Naruto chuckled nervously. Naruto settled on the first hand he saw raise and pointed to the man. How did you get the Rinnegan? The chakra given to me by the Sage of Six Paths when I was a baby was allowed to flow through my body, and bam, Rinnegan, said Naruto, watching a few hands drop, probably because that was their question too. Naruto picked a random shinobi first because he didn't want to come off biased when he chose someone he knew, like Kakashi-sensei. You picked Scarecrow because you're biased. Naruto frowned because he turned to see the purple-haired woman from the second test in the Chunin exam smirking at him. You can go first, Anko, said Kakashi, getting a smile from the woman before looking at Naruto. Can you remove this shit? Questioned Anko, getting Naruto's eyes to widen when she slid her shirt down her shoulder to reveal a curse mark. She had one too. She was Orochimaru's first student. Thought Naruto, walking over to Anko before putting a palm to her curse mark for a second. Naruto pulled back, and the mark was gone. Yes, I can. Anko blinked at the speed, looked down, and saw nothing but clear skin. Anko had a tear come to her eye before she turned back to Naruto, who'd already resettled at the front of the room. Kid, I owe you one. Thank you. Think nothing of it, seriously, said Naruto before looking back at Kakashi. What can your eyes do? Everything we know about the Rinnegan was thought to be just fairy tales of the Sage of Six Paths. The things you hear in those fairy tales are all things I can do or will be able to do with my Rinnegan sensei, confirmed Naruto, getting Kakashi's lone eye to widen at that. Kakashi just nodded his head before returning to the book he was reading. His student satiated his curiosity. Naruto turned and pointed at another random shinobi he'd never met before. Yes, can you demonstrate some of it for those of us that don't know about those fairy tales? Yes, but this is easier, said Naruto before simply showing everyone a memory. The memory was of him performing a few techniques atop the mountain during the finals of the Chunin exams. He didn't show that he had been demonstrating all that to Ino. That'd open up another question that didn't need to be asked nor mattered at the moment. He also didn't show all he could do either. His secrets were his own. He pointed to another shinobi, allowing them to ask their question after the memory ended. Yes. How strong are you? How strong? Well, strength is quantifiable but can be answered relevantly too. Things like lifting this weight or withstanding this much force are quantifiable strengths. And that's something I can't give you because I haven't found out for myself yet, said Naruto sagely before gesturing to Hiruzen. Relevant strength, I can tell you. Gigi is the strongest one here, and I could beat him if we were to fight. An uproar started at that statement from Naruto. Many in the room thought it to be bold. The only ones that didn't have seen Naruto do the things he'd done or knew that Naruto's Rinnegan made him nigh impossible to beat. Hiruzen smiled before speaking up to add his 2 cents. Naruto-kun could best me in a fight, no question asked, said Hiruzen, getting everyone to calm down at his casual admission of inferiority. Probably a weird thing to hear from your leader, but it's no debate. Naruto-kun is stronger than me. Which doesn't mean anything, by the way. I'm not saying I should be Hokage because I can defeat the strongest man here, said Naruto, getting everyone to look back at him as he spoke. He was thankful that Hiruzen spoke up himself to keep people from disregarding his words as illusions of grandeur. He didn't need that, especially when it was just the truth. Just because the rook is the strongest piece in shogi doesn't make it the most important, nor does it lead. Gigi is Hokage. Trust me, I'm just a kid. I don't want to lead all of you, yet. Continued Naruto, getting a few smiles at his yet. He was aiming for Hokage still, and it made people happy because that meant he wanted to be of Konoha. Naruto then turned to one of his friends and pointed to someone he hadn't spoken to since his first prelim fight. Sasuke, can you teach me those things you showed in that memory? Yes, confirmed Naruto, getting Sasuke to nod. Naruto then looked to the people in the room and decided to quell any other question that followed that train of thought. And if you can find me, I might be able to teach you something too. Don't hold your breath. Sasuke Teme has hacks with his eyes. That got a lot of people to nod because what Naruto did atop that mountain was crazy cool. Some of the Chunin ninjas in attendance were itching for maybe a moment with the boy. And also, thanks, said Sasuke, having noticed his curse mark was gone just like Anko's. He'd wondered what happened to it but figured Naruto must have taken it when he was unconscious in the hospital. Despite the power gain, that thing was poisonous, and Sasuke was good to be rid of it before he became addicted. Naruto just shrugged because it was no issue before pointing to the next man, another one he recognized from the Chunin exams. Yo, I don't have a question anymore, said Genma, twirling his signature senbon around before smirking. Just wanted to let you know that cereal is technically soup. The room was silent for a very slow 5 seconds. No one said a word, and no one even moved during that period. Naruto cracked first as his lips curled upward, throwing his head back in laughter. Cereal is technically soup? What kind of timing was that? Genma, shouted a man with an interesting scar over his nose as everyone in attendance shook their head. They remembered Naruto asking Genma that question during the first match of the Chunin exam finals, and as he promised, Genma said he'd let Naruto know what his answer was after it was over. Genma's smirk deepened, seeing Naruto hold his stomach and begin to tear up laughing at what he said. It was all the gratification he needed despite everyone else thinking it was ill-advised. Since you added milk to the bowl, theorized Kakashi, face still in his book, getting everyone to look at him. Does that make it a beverage, a broth, or a sauce? Naruto stopped laughing at that and looked over to his sensei and contemplated the question. He hadn't thought about possible other things. That combination would technically be outside of what most people called it. It got Naruto thinking, if the milk itself is a drink, then that means, well, Why are we all thinking about this? We're supposed to be asking Naruto questions, not doing whatever this is. Excellent point. Naruto-kun doesn't have much time, nor do we during this meeting I called. Please, ask as many questions as you can because we all have a day to get to, said Hiruzen, getting everyone back on track as the questions came flying back at Naruto. He answered every single one they could get to in the time allotted. But alas, everyone had things to do. Naruto has quite a few. Unknown location. Pain, the orange-haired path, stood in a darkened area with a woman standing next to him. She had blue hair and beautiful amber eyes as she looked at him with concern. It's been 3 days since you told him, and he hasn't returned? No, Konan, Madara hasn't returned. He didn't even speak after I informed him of the news, said Pain, looking back at the woman with his usually emotionless face. Not even Zetsu has returned. Does this news trouble them that much? It could be possible. The Rinnegan is quite the power. You know that better than anyone, said Konan, getting Pain to nod his head before he narrowed his eyes. What's wrong? What the boy said. How his eyes were better integrated than mine, said Pain, looking down at his hands and clenching his fists. He's right. His eyes are more powerful than mine. I couldn't stop him from stopping me when I should have been able to. Continued Pain, getting Konan to nod, remembering how casual Naruto stopped the extraction. And then he said that his eyes had been given to him, same as me. Does that mean that these eyes weren't originally mine? Well, that was the thought of the day. Naruto had no reason to lie, and Pain knew Naruto could see things with his Rinnegan that most people would never be able to. The inner chakra gates, invisible barriers, or even foreign entities within someone's body. It was all revealed to the Rinnegan, and that last thing was something Pain never checked himself. You couldn't look at your own eyes directly. A mirror wouldn't tell you the actual story. He could use a path to confirm what Naruto said by looking at him. But, he was hesitant. He didn't want Naruto to be correct. So unless Naruto was saying that to mess with Pain's head, that meant it was true because Naruto knew Pain could check himself. And if it was true, whose eyes did Pain have in his head? This opened up a can of worms that Pain didn't want to dig through to find the answer. We need to find that boy soon. We've spread the news of his Rinnegan already. The world will be searching high and low for him and giving us his location constantly by proxy, said Konan, looking at the powerful eyes in her partner's head. She could feel his anxiety and did her best to quell it. He'll soon be somewhere we can get to him easily. It's only a matter of time. Pain just nodded. He needed to beat Naruto as soon as possible. He couldn't give the boy time to grow, or else it'd be even more hopeless of defeating him. Konoha, same time. He does have the Rinnegan. A thought said aloud by a figure standing atop the head of the Yondaime Hokage's stone head. A figure who donned the outfit of Akatsuki and had an intriguing orange mask on his face. He stood looking down through the one eye hole in his mask at the yellow-haired boy he was speaking about. Uzumaki Naruto, I am not sure how you obtained those eyes, spoke the man, watching Naruto look out the window of the Hokage's office to look at the many citizens who gathered outside the window. He watched Naruto wave at their cheers before he shook his head. It is no concern. Pain has the Rinnegan and can be defeated. It's all a matter of discovering your weaknesses. When I do, I'll rip the Kyuubi from your body and complete my plan. And with his piece said after confirming it for himself, the The man slowly began to disappear into a vortex that formed on his body. Naruto was busy waving at the civilians when he perked up and turned his eyes to his father's stone head. He could have sworn he saw the air distorting for a moment and felt a foreign and powerful chakra, but maybe the Jinchuriki saw things because he blinked and nothing was there. "They'll get used to you in no time, Naruto-kun. Don't you worry," said Hiruzen, walking into his office finally as Naruto turned to see him. "They were the same to me when I became the Hokage, and eventually, it simmered down. It's no problem." Hagoromo's memories had him go through the same in his day, informed Naruto, stepping back around the desk properly as Hiruzen took his usual spot. "This is nothing in comparison. At least, for now. At least for now indeed, but I have faith you'll handle it well. You have been doing so thus far," said Hiruzen, getting Naruto to smile at the compliment. Naruto had been handling his new situation admirably, but they still had some business to handle. And while you can deal with it somewhat easier than I did, I believe you said you could help me with Fu's situation, correct? In a way, I can let you speak with Taki's leader now rather than send a messenger and wait for them to respond." "How can you do that? Remember how I talked with the Rinnegan user back in that cave?" questioned Naruto, getting a nod from Hiruzen. He remembered the flashback Naruto showed him yesterday. "Well, we can do the same with Taki. It's about the easiest thing I'll do all day." "Really? That's quite the ability. I'm guessing you'll at least need the coordinates for Takigakure to project me there," said Hiruzen with a smile, only to see Naruto frown. "I already know the coordinates." "Huh? How?" "Takigakure is a very secretive village. Their location is one of their most guarded secrets. I read Fu's mind." "Oh, right, forgot about that. Silly me. I knew you were getting old, Gigi, but man. I am getting old sadly, something I'm reminded of every day I wake up and hear my bones creak," said Hiruzen with a smile. It was good to get old. It meant he'd lived a good life and got to see a plethora of things because of it. "But don't think I don't know you also schemed that information from my memories, Naruto-kun. I've been trying to let you say it yourself, but enough is enough, I suppose." Naruto's eyes widened as he saw a shine come to the man's old eyes. "I mean, yeah, but you know, I didn't mean to take your memories, Gigi. It just kind of happened." "No, it didn't, I'm sorry," apologized Naruto, waving his hands in front of his face. Having just stated he could defeat Hiruzen in a fight meant nothing to him now, as he was cowering in fear. "The same thing happened with Hagoromo when he gave me chakra. It just kind of happened. True, except, you gave me chakra, and I didn't receive memories. I had mine stolen instead." Hey. Naruto had nothing to say as he looked like a kid who'd been caught doing something terrible by their parent, which worked in this scenario since he was a kid and Hiruzen was practically his legal guardian. "I didn't mean to. It just was there, and I wasn't sure if I still wanted to be a part of Konoha. And then I saw my chance with you," admitted Naruto with his head down. He shook it because it was an unfair thing to do. "You're the bridge between the beginning of Konoha and to me now. You've seen it all. You would know if Konoha had a shady past or were not aligned with my future goals. So, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. It just happened. I understand, my boy. I'd have done the same given the circumstances," said Hiruzen offhandedly, getting Naruto to look up at him with wide eyes. Hiruzen knew Naruto wouldn't tell anything he wasn't supposed to. And the cage could see the boy did it just to confirm that Konoha was somewhere he wouldn't mind keeping his allegiance to. Naruto knew how powerful his Rinnegan was, and he wouldn't allow its use to be for the wrong people, which was why Hiruzen called the handling of his new abilities admirable. Hiruzen's memories were second to none in finding out all there was to Konoha, so Naruto took his chance. Not by force, merely by convenience, and without Hiruzen being any the wiser until later on. As Hiruzen knew, Konoha had some bad, but the good far outweighed it, and Naruto was thankful that the older man was who Naruto had looked up to for so many years. Naruto was also grateful that Konoha was too. Naruto let out a breath he didn't know he was holding when Hiruzen seemed okay with the invasion of privacy. Sure, Naruto could beat Hiruzen in a fight, but you still didn't want to tangle with the man because you wouldn't come out of the fight the same way. Naruto also didn't want to ruin his relationship with his soul guardian for his actions either. Hiruzen merely kept the ball rolling and didn't acknowledge it further as he put on his game face. "I'm ready now if you want to begin." Hi. Gentashin, Magic Lantern Body. In a small wooden hut with the sign for Taki written above its entrance, A man with black eyes and long, dark brown hair stood in the very Spartan interior of the hut. He had a shinobi headband with the symbol of Takigakure inscribed on it as he sat meditating. It's been a while since I was last here. The man was shocked when he heard a voice. He didn't even hear anybody enter. When he looked up, all he saw was a rainbow-colored hologram of what looked like the Sandaime Hokage staring back at him. A stare that didn't seem like he was happy to see him. "Hello Shibuki-kun, it's a pleasure to see you again. So grown up this time. Hiruzen Dono. Is that you?" questioned Shibuki, getting the hologram to nod. "What brings you? And how are you here?" "Those are questions. Questions I will answer because it is common courtesy to answer when asked a question. Especially to one's ally," spoke Hiruzen, keeping sharp eyes on the current leader of Takigakure. "What brings me here is a need for information, and how I'm here is thanks to a very powerful shinobi of mine's abilities. This projection is one of them," continued Hiruzen before closing his eyes. "Now, I have a question of my own, and it's the reason I'm here. I do hope you can answer it for me." "Of course I can. What is it? How is the Nanabi Jinchuriki doing?" "Fu, I believe her name was. I haven't seen her since your father introduced her to me all those years ago," spoke Hiruzen, opening his eyes to gauge Shibuki's face. It hid his panic well, but Hiruzen could spot the minute details after 60+ years of shinobi living. And it was all Hiruzen needed to see. "Can you tell me how she is?" "I can't say. I haven't seen Fu in a while," spoke Shibuki while scratching the back of his neck. "Last I checked, she was in good health and getting stronger every day." Hiruzen merely looked at Shibuki with steely eyes, getting the Taki leader to nearly crack at the gaze. A little longer, and he would have, but Hiruzen didn't care to see that. He already knew what he needed to know, and what the cage heard gave him all the motivation he needed to do what he planned. "Good, I'm glad to hear," said Hiruzen with a smile that released the tension in the room. "I apologize for dropping in on you like this to ask such a simple question, but I'm happy you gave this old man your time. I won't bother you like this again without proper heads up. Enjoy your day, Shibuki-kun. And please, contact me should anything change," continued Hiruzen with a curt head bow. "We are allies, after all." "Hi, come anytime Hokage Dono," said Shibuki in reply, also bowing his head. "Your presence is always welcome." "Good to know," said Hiruzen before the connection ended, and he returned to his body in Konoha. Hiruzen patted Naruto on the head, getting Naruto to look up at him as he smiled at his pseudo-grandson. "Thank you, that made that very easy. What happened? Don't want to just read my mind and find out?" "Gigi, I said I was sorry." Naruto's frown got Hiruzen to smile wider. "I know. Try not to abuse your power though, Naruto-kun," said Hiruzen, getting Naruto to nod before he figured he could answer the boy's question. "Fu won't be returning to Takigakure. Did he lie to you?" "No, but withholding information when I know he allowed Akatsuki to take her is not okay either," said Hiruzen with a sigh. He'd hoped the boy, now man, would admit what he did. The two of them may have moved on amicably at that point. But he didn't, and so, I will let Fu know that she's more than welcome to remain here should she choose. Or do whatever it is her heart desires. But despite our alliance with Takigakure, I refuse to allow her to return there. Especially when she doesn't want to return herself. "Good, because her village sucks," said Naruto, getting Hiruzen to raise an eyebrow. "The people there treated her the same as me. Way worse though, because at least I had a few friends and the mood surrounding me started to change some when my abilities were on display," continued Naruto, clenching his fist at the memories he'd gotten from Fu. Her village knew she was the strongest one there and still treated her poorly. All she wanted was a friend, and she couldn't even get that because of them. It looked horrible. "Sadly, it's how it goes with most Jinchuriki," said Hiruzen, sadly thinking about it. "I've noticed. I've met Gaara and now Fu. Both of them have been shunned by their village the same as me," said Naruto, melancholy at the thought. "That's 3 for 3. I wish I could meet the other 6 if there are indeed 6 more Jinchuriki out there. I wish to speak with them about Akatsuki and to become their friend maybe." "You can do that, you know." "Huh? Ero-sensei?" questioned Naruto, hearing the man's voice before turning and seeing the man himself stepping through an open window in the office. "You can do that. We can go and meet all the Jinchuriki and warn them about the Akatsuki if you want." "Really?" questioned Naruto, getting a nod from Jiraiya. "How?" "Jiraiya wants to take you on a trip, Naruto-kun. A very long trip." "How long?" Just long enough until you can handle all that you need and wish to do, informed Jiraiya, getting attentive eyes from Naruto while he spoke. The auto stuff, meeting the Jinchuriki and seeing the Biju again, and most importantly, grow into your powers without constantly being pestered by villagers and shinobi every day. Continued Jiraiya with a shrug. It sounded good in his head, and he figured it would sound good to Naruto too. I know you've been taking it in stride, but trust me. I know how you feel. So does Sandaime-sama. Everyone needs a moment to adjust, and sadly, you weren't allowed that at all. From gopher to immediate messiah status. Yeah, I'm not the messiah, though, said Naruto, contemplating the thought. Naruto knew he was plenty strong, but knew how strong he could be from Hagoromo's memories. He had a long hill to climb, and that trip sounded like something he could use as an excellent reason to focus on sharpening his abilities and improving his body. This would be what? A training trip with side stops for things like Otogakure and the Jinchuriki? Yeah, we could call it that if you want, said Jiraiya, watching Naruto contemplate the offer. You can even bring your little Otto girlfriend. Though I'm sure, she will come regardless since we'll be tackling Otto's remaining bases. And maybe you can invite your little Jinchuriki friend whose life you saved. Continued Jiraiya, getting a blush to tint Naruto's cheeks. Jiraiya put a hand to his chin as he rubbed his non-existent beard to contemplate. I met her the other day. Pretty just like the Otto one, and would probably give you some hero love. Then there's that Yamanaka girl I saw you smirking at when you walked into the conference room. You player. I bet you're. Gigi. Can I have a moment to think this over first? Shouted Naruto, interrupting Jiraiya as Hiruzen smiled and nodded. Thanks, bye. Thank Kami, the kid may be seen as a god now, but, spoke Jiraiya after Naruto vanished with a cherry-red face. At least he's still human. He's more of a demigod now that I think about it. Demigod works well. He's still Naruto. Just strong. Absurdly even, Hiruzen agreed with Jiraiya before smiling too. But he'll be Naruto-kun regardless. Yeah, that's a good thing, said Jiraiya with a content sigh. Jiraiya then had an idea before looking at his teacher. You want to spy on the kid? I'm sure he's headed to one of those girls now. Of course, said Hiruzen while taking out a crystal ball from his desk drawer. A crystal ball that allowed him to spy on anyone within the walls of Konoha. It's my favorite pastime. Naruto-kun always has quite the adventures. Even with mundane tasks. Peeved, you're just doing it now because the kid took your memories, and you want payback. Jiraiya, you know me so well. You might even be my favorite student. Yeah, I know it's probably Tsunade. Just turn that puppy on, and let's see what the kid's doing. Hiruzen smiled and did as his student asked. With Naruto. Pervert, said Naruto after arriving in his bedroom only to get whacked across the head the moment he spoke. Shut up, shouted Tayuya angrily, waving her flute at the downed boy. The kunoichi was glad she kept a hold of it now, as it allowed her to bludgeon Naruto for disrupting her again. It hasn't even been 3 hours yet. Shut the hell up, that's it, shouted Naruto, standing up to look at the angry girl sitting atop his bed on her knees. Naruto got face to face with the now growling girl but didn't back down at all. This is my home. Mine. I pay the bills around here, and I'll talk whenever I damn well please. Tayuya just continued to growl at Naruto as Naruto narrowed his eyes at her, still not backing down. Somebody's nuts finally dropped, I see. They dropped a while ago, little lady. I was just trying to be nice to you, but no more. Shouted Naruto as Tayuya growled a little more. HMMPH. Huffed Tayuya, eventually turning her head and crossing her arms. Naruto's Rinnegan was too powerful to keep returning his stare. Her crossing her arms caused her chest to jiggle, which Naruto's Rinnegan picked up. The girl was still smoking hot, and she just had to be wearing skimpy sleepwear, didn't she? Her talking again snapped Naruto out of his perverted thoughts. You're usually calm as fuck. What crawled up your ass today? Naruto frowned because he was angrier than usual. Tayuya's flute did hurt, but really, it wasn't enough to make him snap like that. It was probably all the stuff he dealt with back to back in rapid succession. It was all starting to get to him. He was just a kid, after all. I have a lot going on and… Rhetorical question, sunflower, I don't care, informed Tayuya, getting a tick mark to form on Naruto's head. Fuck it. I was going to really think this through and probably take you cool places for helping me, but, fuck it again, said Naruto, annoyed that her vulgar language had been rubbing off on him. He'd been cussing more often lately and he'd work on that, eventually. For now, fuck it a third time. Get dressed and pack your stuff. We're going to finish this auto stuff now, and then you can do whatever the hell you want. Sounds good. I've been bored as hell, replied Tayuya, getting off Naruto's bed and heading to the closet in his room. She opened it before turning back to see him still there. I'm not getting dressed with you in here. You fucking perv. As if I'd want to watch, snapped back Naruto quickly. A part of him did want to watch, which was why he hadn't left yet. Luckily, Tayuya didn't have the gall or didn't care enough to call him on it. Either way, Naruto continued. Just hurry up. I'm summoning you in 30 minutes. Whatever, Sunflower. Naruto growled in return before vanishing. Arriving in the Hokage's office for the third time today, Naruto looked to see Jiraiya and Hiruzen standing there stiff as boards. Both were looking at him as Hiruzen had his hands behind his back. Weird, but Naruto didn't pay it enough mind to wonder what he was hiding because of Tayuya getting his blood boiling. Hey kid, you're back already? Hey, Ero-sensei, whenever you can get that trip ready, let me know. I'm all abroad, spoke Naruto, getting the man to nod his head. Naruto needed a break already, and this trip would be that. Great, also, continued Naruto looking at Hiruzen. That auto stuff. I want to do that before we leave if possible. Of course, you're still technically on that mission, replied Hiruzen before Naruto turned to Jiraiya. Trip isn't ready now. I'll get it all sorted and let you know when we're ready to roll. It should take me about a week or so to plan the route, informed Jiraiya, getting Naruto to nod before he vanished again. Hiruzen and Jiraiya exhaled a breath as the cage pulled the crystal ball he'd been spying on Naruto with from behind his back. Damn, kid's teleportation is fast. Good thing you know the secret to it. Yes, yes it is, and yes, yes I do. Naruto arrives before his brain knows he's here, so we only had to move quickly to avoid him noticing. Yep, didn't know you could still move that fast, old man. I've still got a little fight in me there, my boy. I'm just glad Naruto-kun accepted the trip, said Hiruzen with a smile. He looked apprehensive at first, but the Tayuya girl managed to get him to accept it. Even if he didn't think about it, it'd be good for him. Yeah, it will. Probably good for the world, said Jiraiya looking out the window of the office. Jiraiya smiled, thinking about it. The world knows about him. It'll be good to introduce him to it. Hiruzen just nodded his head. The world indeed did know about Naruto now. Hiruzen had a message from the daimyo set on his desk this morning confirming he'd heard about the Rinnegan. He wanted to meet Naruto, and Hiruzen figured Jiraiya could also add him to the travel plans. Be sure to keep him safe, Jiraiya. Kid doesn't need protecting, but don't worry, it'll all be gravy, sensei. It would all be gravy. It always was with Jiraiya. I hope you enjoy yourself, at least some Naruto-kun, thought Hiruzen. Don't overextend trying to solve every little problem you both come across. Take time to smell the flowers. I'm sure you'll have plenty of things to do upon your return. And with that, Jiraiya and Hiruzen got to their tasks. Jiraiya in setting up the trip and Hiruzen with his cage duties. They'd reconvene again when the trip was ready. And what a trip it would be. With Naruto. Gigi did say Fu could do whatever she wanted. Maybe I should have asked her too, said Naruto standing along the outskirts of Konoha. He stood just before one of its gates as he contemplated out loud. All I did was check on her and converse for a little while to let her know where I'll be. I could have asked, but it feels a little weird, doesn't it? Naruto wanted to ask her, but he didn't want her to say yes just because he was her hero, or something like that. Naruto wanted Fu to go because Fu wished to go. Sadly, he didn't have the time to think of a way to ask her without that showing up. The Kyuubi Jinchuriki would get on it when he returned as the 3 tomo of his weakened Rinnegan began to spin. Chikushodo, a poof of smoke later, and Naruto's companion had arrived. I fucking hate that shit. Yeah, said Naruto, hearing the complaint from a dressed and ready to go Tayuya. Naruto multitasked with his summoning as he also brought his Tengu out. Hopping aboard, Naruto turned to the redhead and gestured to his summoning. Hop on. I knew that already, Sunflower, said Tayuya, getting Naruto to growl as she boarded the back of the enormous dogbird hybrid. Naruto-sama, Naruto-sama, Naruto-sama. Naruto and Tayuya looked up to see a horde of people rushing them. What? I've only been here for maybe 30 seconds. You're a god to them now. People are fucking crazy, and I'm surprised they weren't here faster. I'm not a god, frowned Naruto before fixing his face with a smile when the people stood a few feet from his Tengu. Naruto gave them a wave. Hi everyone, I got some stuff to do, but I'll be back soon. So, see you when I return. The horde of people was sad hearing the news, having hoped to speak with him some. Instead, they just waved because they knew he'd come back. He'd practically said it. Naruto's Tengu took flight, and he and his red-headed companion were flying to finish the rest of Oto. There were still a few bases they had left to eradicate. So, what's the first one we hitting? Sunflower. The southern hideout was next before we got called back. And stop calling me a sunflower. No, you look like a sunflower, and I call him like I see him, replied Tayuya, getting Naruto to turn to her. I don't like you. I don't like you either, reciprocated Tayuya before smirking. But at least I know you think I'm hot, Mr. Erection. Naruto blushed furiously before realizing he'd lost already. There was no win for him here with any reply because he had nothing. So, he just turned around and tried to will the blush off his face. Naruto's blush would deepen since Tayuya hugged him and whispered sultrily in his ear. What part of my body do you like the most, Sunflower-sama? Naruto couldn't help the shudder that ran through his body from the close contact. Tayuya laughed in his ear, seeing his blush now cover his entire face. She rested her chin on his shoulder and kept talking. You know, for a god among men, you're so easy to mess with. I like it. Naruto frowned as the girl remained draped over his back. He likely wouldn't be able to get her off without using physical force. He wouldn't because it felt nice to have her so close. Except, Naruto couldn't help but let her know how he felt. I don't like you. That's not what your friend was saying this morning, now was it? Naruto's frown deepened further. It was going to be a long ride to Otogakure. You're not that hot. Yes, I am. No, you're not. Okay, maybe not to some people. But, spoke Tayuya, smirking at the deadpan stare Naruto was giving her. She was draped over the Jinchuriki's back still as her face was inches from his. You think I'm hot, and that's cute. A little boy has a crush on me. Don't call me cute. I am a shinobi. I kill people for a living. I am not cute, said Naruto as his stare kept Tayuya from pinching his cheek like she wanted to. She wasn't about to treat him like a little kid. He wasn't even little anymore. And don't call me little. I'm taller than you now. I didn't call you cute, sunflower. And when I said little, I didn't mean your height, said Tayuya, looking below Naruto's waist for a moment before looking back up. Naruto's stare didn't change, but his cheeks grew rosy, showing his flustered state. Seeing his blush made Tayuya reach up and tug one of his whiskered cheeks. It was so adorable. And just so you know, I'm happy I'm your first crush. I don't like you, repeated Naruto. It needed repeating because Tayuya was infuriating. Naruto forced Tayuya to remove her hand when he tried to bite it off. The action got Tayuya to laugh as Naruto continued. Words like, little, and, adorable, don't need to be used with regards to my baby dick. You can call it what it is. My dick, growled Naruto before taking a calming breath. Tayuya would not continue to rile him up. He was better than this. I'm still in control of your life here, remember? I could tell everyone you tried to kill Sandame Gigi. So, be nice, and the rest of this auto stuff will fly by in a flash. Then we'll be rid of one another since I won't need your help anymore. Continued Naruto, turning forward while he spoke. His blush vanished as he felt in control once more. Or don't be nice, and I could tell everyone who you are. They'll lock your nasty-mouthed ass away forever, and I'll have to visit you in your 8x8 prison cell every other week. Oh, you'd come to visit me? Questioned Tayuya, batting her eyelashes at him. Yes, to laugh for a few minutes before bidding you adieu while I handled cute non-prisoner things. TCH, good thing I know you won't tell. And why is that? Because we both know you don't have balls big enough to. I don't like you. I figured we could move past that, but I guess I was wrong. Whatever, said Naruto, getting Tayuya to laugh again before she began tugging his cheek once more. A frown marred Naruto's features before he perked up. Tayuya noticed the quick shift in Naruto's demeanor and prepped a question that Naruto answered before she could ask. We've made it. Man, that was fast, commented Tayuya before realizing Naruto hadn't started yet. That was weird. He usually just launched some super jutsu to begin their attack on auto bases. Oi, why are you stalling? You trying to drop a meteor or something? I could, but I don't think it is necessary, replied Naruto, getting Tayuya's eyes to widen. Wait, you can drop a meteor? Naruto stood with a nod and walked to his Tengu's head. His casual admission froze Tayuya. A meteor? There's no way that's real. I don't even want to ask for proof. Who the fuck can drop a meteor? I have to ask if he's serious. Wait, no, I don't want to know. And Tayuya didn't ask as she saw Naruto point to the Otogakure base. They surrendered. Look, Tayuya could see a white flag waving from the highest building of Otto's southern hideout. Tayuya just smirked, realizing who headed this department. She should have known something like this would happen. How lucky. Little bitch's abilities might have saved her ass. The Karen girl? Huh? Tayuya looked up, hearing Naruto know who she was referring to. She looked to the boy and rose an eyebrow. How do you know about her? I stole your teammates' memories. Oh, right. I forgot Sunflower, said Tayuya before smiling. Her hand had stayed on Naruto's cheek this entire time as she tugged it again and pointed down with her other arm. Let's go. I still want to scare her. I bet she's freaking out right now. Why? I could probably kick her weak ass with my eyes closed and both of my arms restricted, said Tayuya before tugging Naruto's cheek a bit sharper. Her brown eyes matched his gaze as she smiled a Cheshire grin. That's just me. And now your beefy chakra ass is floating right above her auto base. She's probably shitting herself feeling how strong you are, continued Tayuya before tapping Naruto's cheek, this time with the back of her hand. So come on, let's go talk to her. She sucks, but she might be useful. Naruto just nodded before vanishing with the redhead. Otogakure's southern hideout 2 minutes earlier. Situated within the Otogakure hideout, a red-haired girl stood tugging on a rope. She was a girl with crimson eyes, fair skin, and her aforementioned red head of hair in an unusual hairstyle. Short and spiky on the right side, while longer and straight on the left side. She wore narrow glasses, and her outfit is a lavender uniform that exposes her navel, short black shorts, and long black thigh-high stockings with black sandals. And right now, she was freaking out from what she could feel coming. Oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no, thought the girl, frantically tugging on the rope. The rope had a white flag attached to its top that she was hastily trying to raise. She was a censor and could hopefully surrender before that enormous chakra arrived. She'd never felt anything so strong in her life. Please, please, please. We surrender. Don't kill us. The flag raised fully. The girl sat waiting with bated breath that the chakra source would accept her surrender. There was absolutely no way she could contend with such a power. She could feel the power hovering a few hundred meters above the tower before it was suddenly right in front of her face. Hey, greeted Naruto, getting the girl to jump back in fright. Naruto's eyes immediately picked up on something interesting. Her chakra matches mine somewhat. Does that mean she's... Ah, don't kill me, shouted the girl, seeing Naruto so close to her now. Naruto snapped out of his thinking to see the girl looking at him fearfully. I don't want to die. You can have whatever you want. I'll even tell you everything if I have to. Just please don't kill me. Ha 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 ha. This is priceless. I told you she was shitting herself. You lost our bet, said Tayuya, still perched on Naruto's back and smirking at the girl. Bet? What bet? I'll collect my winnings in a second. For now, Mama has things she wants to do first, so be patient, said Tayuya, blowing a kiss to Naruto before climbing off his back. Naruto raised an eyebrow but shrugged at Tayuya's eccentric behavior. Naruto began to look around the interior of the hideout while Tayuya stepped to her fellow redhead. How's it going, Karen? Tayuya-san, is that you? Questioned Karen, looking at the other redhead before turning to Naruto. His chakra levels were so vast that she had yet to find the end of them. How strong are you? Your chakra is so warm. And it just keeps going and going in. Oi, pay attention. Stop marveling at Sunflower, said Tayuya, getting Karen's focus back on her. Now, we might not kill you if you can help us. Where's the crystal-using bitch that stroked off Orochimaru? She comes to this base a lot, and he wants to speak with her. I, stammered Karen, unable to concentrate with Naruto standing so close to her. She hadn't even known Tayuya was with Naruto, considering his chakra overshadowed hers entirely. And she couldn't pay attention due to his overwhelming presence being so close. But she could try. You mean Guren-san? No, the other crystal-using bitch, deadpanned Tayuya, looking at Karen. Tayuya watched the girl's eyes move from her to Naruto repeatedly. Tayuya turned to see Naruto just scoping out the base as she snapped her fingers to get his attention. Oi, sunflower, can you turn your chakra down or something? Tomato here can't concentrate on anything but you big stud you. Continued Tayuya, getting Naruto to turn to Karen. He saw Karen's gaze and smiled disarmingly. Karen felt Naruto's chakra vanish as she could hear how loud she'd been breathing. Thanks. Now, tell me where that crystal bitch is. I'm right here, bitch, shouted a voice, getting everyone's attention. The trio all looked around to see nothing. The only thing was, Naruto found himself encased in a pink crystal that covered his entire body and froze him in place. I knew the kid wasn't a god. Duh, we both already knew that. Wait, sunflower? Tayuya had turned to see Naruto trapped within a crystal. That wasn't how this was supposed to go. Oi, you stupid crystal bitch. Let him out. Now, why would I do that? Questioned the voice again until the wall right behind the frozen Naruto began to move forward. The wall shimmered before shattering into hundreds of shards to reveal a light blue-haired woman with a smug smirk on her face. This woman was Guren, the crystal-using bitch, as Tayuya eloquently put. I just trapped in him about to kill this god who took Orochimaru-sama from me. Why would I let him free? Because if you don't, he might kill you, said Tayuya, getting Guren to laugh as she walked up to Naruto. And how is he going to accomplish that trap like he is? A simple touch, and he'll shatter into 1,000 pieces. He's not trapped, idiot. Yeah, she's not lying, said Naruto, letting out a wave of gravity that shattered Guren's crystal trap. The girl had to cover up to avoid the pieces from harming her face. Naruto's 3-tomo Rinnegan looked at the taller girl, and she began to panic. At least about my being trapped. The killing part, I still don't believe is necessary. How? How did you? Tried to speak Guren, but it wouldn't come out. In her panic, she placed her hands in the ram seal. A blue lance made of crystal surrounded the girl's forearm before she lunged at Naruto. I don't care who you are. This is for Orochimaru-sama. I'm sorry, said Naruto, catching the tip of the lance with his palm. Guren looked shocked. He caught the sharp end of her lance without it going straight through his hand. Shirado. I'm sorry I took your master from you. Continued Naruto, having augmented his body to keep the lance from stabbing through his hand. He increased the augmentation further and crushed the girl's lance by tightening his grip. Just like with another shinobi of his, I can see how much he meant to you, and I'm sorry. You're sorry? Questioned Guren, with a few tears coming to her eyes. They were furious tears as the girl went through another set of hand seals while jumping back to put distance between the two of them. Shoten. A Shi Komyo, crystal style, arrow of light. The Shoten Kekai Genkei, such a powerful ability, and I can see why Orochimaru would have treasured you, said Naruto, watching a near invisible to the naked eye prism of crystal form around Guren. The prism's tip launched a powerful and fast beam at Naruto that he absorbed using Gakido. The same chance I gave to another one of Orochimaru's subordinates, I will give to you. Continued Naruto, watching Guren end her attack, realizing she wasn't doing anything. The girl fell to her knees, and Naruto frowned at the tears he could see. I'm sorry. Please, leave this base. I'm going to destroy it. You have 30 seconds. Guren looked up and could only see genuine sincerity from Naruto. He was sorry that he took Orochimaru from her. She could see it clear as day on his face. But it didn't matter because he still took Orochimaru away. And with that thought, Guren stood before clenching her fists at Naruto. I'm going to kill you one day, said Guren, knowing she couldn't now. He didn't bat an eyelash at her most potent attack. She wasn't beating him today. She didn't know anything really about him or what his weaknesses were. But she'd find them out, and on that day, I'm going to avenge Orochimaru-sama. Just you wait, Uzumaki Naruto. Naruto watched Guren take off out of the base, and he let out a sigh. Naruto then turned his eyes to Karen to see her still standing there. Konoha. Huh? When you leave here, go to Konoha, said Naruto, getting the girl to nod her head before turning to leave. Wait, that's it, sunflower? Questioned Tayuya, getting Karen to stop and turn just in case she wasn't allowed to leave. Tayuya, said Naruto, calmly holding out his hand. Tayuya looked down at the extended hand before looking back up. She was ready to argue but stopped when she saw Naruto's face. She put her hand in his while he turned back to Karen. Go to Konoha, please. Tell the guards at the gate that your name is Uzumaki Karen and that Naruto asked you to be taken in until I return. Go. Karen heard the surname he gave her and realized why Naruto wanted her to return to Konoha. Was she an Uzumaki? Karen never planned to go to Konoha when he first told her to. She was just going to nod and pretend like she would before running for her life. Then he called her an Uzumaki. And if Naruto was one too, according to Guren just now, that made the two of them family somehow. Karen had questions about how Naruto knew who she was when she didn't even know but held them back until they met again in Konoha. She'd go now, given that reason. Sunflower, said Yuya lowly, looking at Naruto's face. Everyone else here is a despicable person, correct? I have memories to go off of but, I'd like to hear from you too. You're not wrong. These are people who did bad things. Orochimaru captured and used them for experiments since no one would look for despicable people, confirmed Yuya, getting Naruto to nod his head. What I thought. I need an outlet right now, said Naruto as 3 tomo returned to his eyes. He was back to 6 in each again as his chakra amped up twofold. Yuya could feel the massive difference and watched the tomo hypnotizingly orbit his pupil. ISO number Hitotachi, majestic attire sword stroke. Yuya blinked and found herself and Naruto atop his Tengu. She looked to see their phantasm arriving there before seeing a shimmering white chakra grow to surround herself and Naruto. Yuya marveled at how beautiful the chakra looked. It looked like it was coated in diamonds with how it sparkled. Naruto's Tengu crowed loudly just as the white chakra grew and morphed to surround it like armor. A sword, made of the white chakra, formed in the summon's hand that it gripped before swinging down at the base below it. The blade never came close to striking the ground but, its shockwave split the base in half rather destructively. Siatsu, said Naruto holding a palm down toward the middle of the split base. A potent gravity blast truly separated the 2 parts of the base into crushed pieces with ease. A clone then phased into existence before teleporting to the center of the flattened base. Tenchi Kaijin, heaven and earth end in ashes. Yuya watched a massive array spawn from the Naruto clone that managed to cover the ruined base completely. And then it exploded in a burst of fire that rose dozens of feet in the air before dying down. The tomo in Naruto's eyes stopped circling his pupil as the white chakra around him and his Tengu dissipated. On to the eastern hideout. We're almost finished. Yuya's eyes never left the crushed base, now only ash, even as Naruto's Tengu began making its way to the next hideout they were to take down. Yuya looked back to Naruto and saw his eyes lifelessly looking forward. Something was off with him. What happened, Sunflower? What's got you so moody? Thought Yuya, concerned about the powerful boy. His Rinnegan did give off an emotionless appearance but, Naruto managed to put forth emotion through them with his facial features. Right now, he wasn't giving off anything. It was honestly scaring Yuya. It was why she just took his hand and didn't argue further with him back down at the base. Oi, where did this mopey shit come from? Yuya was still Yuya though. And she wasn't having this, mopey shit, as she tugged Naruto's cheek, getting him to turn to her. His Rinnegan was much scarier with the 6 tomo in blank face but, Yuya didn't care. What's got you all pissy, Sunflower? Is it cause of the crystal bitch and what she said about Orochimaru? Sort of, how can I? Stop, shut up, I know where this is going, said Yuya, getting Naruto to narrow his eyes at her. Man, his stare was bone-chilling but, Yuya still didn't care. She was going to get this straight with Naruto right now. You killed Orochimaru, and he meant something to someone, so you feel bad. Was that what you were going to say? Questioned Yuya, getting Naruto to stop glaring at her. Yuya took that as confirmation she was right and continued speaking. So what? You killed Orochimaru. The dude tried to kill your grandpa. Feels like ample reason to return the favor. Yeah, but I didn't have to kill him. I could have kept him alive. So he could break out and keep doing the diabolical shit he was doing? No, so the ones like Guren and Kimimaro could at least have had a moment with him. Or something, said Naruto, getting attentive brown eyes from Yuya. So he did have a reason. Who am I to be the executioner of the world's bad people? Going around killing them makes people like Guren and Kimimaro want revenge. Continued Naruto, turning his vision down to look at his hands. I want to bring peace to this world. It was Hagoromo's dream and what he hoped of me when endowing me with his power. And yet, I'm sitting here killing people like Orochimaru, your old teammates, or those two from Akatsuki unceremoniously when there was no need for me to. I could have easily captured them and allowed judicial practices to take place. Maybe their loved ones could have some peace instead of what this is. Sunflower, said Yuya softly, putting a hand to Naruto's cheek. Her hand gently raised Naruto's head to make him look at her again. Naruto could see Yuya giving him a sympathetic look in return before slapping him hard with her other hand. You sound like a pussy right now, continued Yuya in the same soft voice despite what she just did and said. Naruto looked back at her with a red handprint forming on his face as Yuya shook her head disappointingly. You're overthinking. Who gives a fuck that you killed a bad person doing bad shit? I don't, and I feel like you shouldn't either. Well, I do. I could have let them live just like I let you live. And we both know you give a fuck about that. Not really. If you'd have killed me, then I'd just be dead, and you'd still be doing this destruction stuff. Just without me here to slap your ass for being a pussy, said Yuya, getting Naruto to raise both eyebrows at her. How she could state that so brazenly was crazy to Naruto. Yuya put her hand back to Naruto's cheek to soothe the stinging sensation somewhat. Seriously, you shouldn't think so hard about this. I never have because it doesn't matter. I don't have some perfect saying for you here that'll make this make sense. There probably isn't one, but I do know, it doesn't matter. You're a ninja. You kill people for a living. And you're human. You might make a mistake when killing someone. But stop moping about this shit because what's done is done. Just be better next time, said Yuya before tugging Naruto's cheek sharply. Naruto rose an eyebrow at the force used as Yuya glared at him. If you are going to keep being a pussy, let me off now. You're a buzzkill like this. I like you better when you're the god people expect you to be. Even though we both know you're simply a human like the rest of us. Yuya let go of Naruto's cheek before taking a seat aboard his Tengu, saying her piece. Naruto watched her pull out her flute to begin playing melodies from it. Naruto listened to the beautiful tunes as he turned his head up to the clouds rapidly flying by in the sky. And she said she didn't have a perfect saying to make this make sense. She did pretty well just now. The people Naruto had killed did have people who loved them. And to those people, Naruto would feel bad for no matter what he did. But he shouldn't go around letting it affect him like it was. Orochimaru didn't deserve Naruto's mercy. Orochimaru's legacy didn't deserve the right to remain in this world either. The man's bad thoroughly outweighed any good he ever did. There was no question about that in Naruto's mind. Yuya was right about his killing people. He was a ninja, and killing was going to happen. His feeling terrible about it didn't change the fact he'd do all of those things again if he were allowed to change it. Or that he wouldn't kill every member of Akatsuki for messing with him and the Biju, Jinchuriki. Despite these revelations, he wouldn't stop feeling bad about killing people. No matter how bad they were. If I don't feel remorse, then I'll be no better than those I've killed. Thought Naruto with a smile. He wouldn't stop feeling bad in these cases. It allowed him to keep his humanity. But he could at least stop being a bitch about it. Thank you, Yuya-chan. Don't fucking call me Chan. And think nothing of it, Sunflower. You were the same way when you let Kimimaro Teme go, said Yuya as she stopped playing her flute to look up at Naruto. She rose an eyebrow, seeing the ominous look on his face. Why are you looking at me like that? I'm not going to stop being a pussy about killing people, said Naruto, grabbing Yuya with his gravity powers before moving her off his Tengu. Naruto held the girl in midair and watched her eyes widen at what he was doing. And I believe you said to let you off now if I wasn't going to stop. Hey, stop playing Sunflower, said Yuya, freaking out at being at his complete mercy. She couldn't move due to the unseen force locking her in place as she saw nothing but the ground waiting beneath her. She turned her brown eyes to Naruto and glared at him. You better not drop me. Or you'll what? I'll kick your ass. We both know you can't kick my ass. I'm a god, remember? You definitely can't if you don't survive this fall, said Naruto with an evil grin that got Yuya's heart to skip a beat. He was telling the truth. She could feel he was serious, and it was scaring her. And even if you did survive, you'd be in no condition to fight me without months of recovery. I'll be way stronger by then. Sunflower, you better. What's my name? What? Say my name, and I'll bring you back on board. Quote. Yuya looked at Naruto and could see him waiting to hear his name. He was so annoying. Fine. Your name is Naru Sunflower. Ha, fuck you and drop me, you pussy. Naruto growled before doing as she asked and dropping her. Tayuya fell through the sky while laughing like a madwoman. Her laugh began to die down about halfway to the ground when she realized she was plummeting to her death. Maybe that wasn't the best thing to say, said Tayuya, beginning to panic as she neared the ground. Yeah, it wasn't worth it as she was picking up more speed toward a fatal landing. Okay, I'm sorry, shouted Tayuya, bracing herself for impact. Your name is Naruto Owl. That wasn't so hard now, was it? Tayuya blinked and found herself settled neatly on the back of Naruto's Tengu. She could see the telltale poof of smoke from a summoning and turned to see Naruto smiling at her. The girl was heavily breathing as she looked at Naruto. Right, I don't like you, said Tayuya, settling her pounding heart as Naruto shrugged. I don't like you either, replied Naruto before turning to look at where they were going. He closed his eyes before taking in a deep breath and releasing it. We'll be rid of each other in a few more days. So, don't you? Naruto didn't get out what he wanted to say as Tayuya had tackled him and began to grapple with the Rinnegan wielder. He dropped her 1,000 feet above the ground and had the gall to give her his back. She didn't care about what he was saying, and if it were up to her, Naruto would be sporting a few bruises and broken bones by the time they got to the next base. Oi, no biting. Damn it, ow. When did you get so strong? Questioned Naruto, avoiding a bite only to get hit by her flute. She tried to bite him again as Naruto growled when he dodged. Hey, I'm letting you do this because that was pretty messed up. You bite me, and I'm throwing you off here again. Shut up, shouted Tayuya, swinging her flute at his head again. Godlike powers or not, Naruto was going to feel her wrath for that death scare. Konoha. The Nanabi Jinchuriki walked around aimlessly with a perpetual frown on her face. The reason for the frown was straightforward. She'd been in the hospital since Naruto brought her to Konoha, and this morning she'd been released. Only to find out that the only person she knew outside of the Hokage was gone across the world to destroy the remnants of Otogakure. He could have at least said something, right? Thought Fu in her head. For most people, asking a question in your head wouldn't be met with a response. Fu was different than most people. She had a Biju who could try to answer any query she could come up with. He did say something. Fu spoke Chome to her Jinchuriki. She was happy that Fu finally came to speak with her back when Naruto saved them. Her villagers had Fu believing Chome was someone Fu should never talk with. When all Chome had wanted was to help Fu from day one to make both their lives more pleasant. I don't mean on the Biju plane thingy, Chome, thought Fu in reply while making her way down the street. He could have at least been there in person. He's a busy boy, Fu. He has the man who created me's chakra and eyes, rebutted Chome, flapping her mighty wings to stay hovering within Fu's mindscape. With his great power comes great responsibility. There are a lot of problems in the world, and with his Rinnegan, I believe he presumes he has to solve them. Plus, if he showed up to your hospital room in person, you'd have had a mob of people storming your room. True, it's so dumb. Naruto's not a god. Honestly, if he's anything like Hagoromo-sama, he's probably the closest thing to a god. It's still so stupid, thought Fu, looking around at the people of Konoha. She was happy they were amicable to her, greeting her with a smile, and a few older citizens even going so far as to call her pretty. But she could see they were all fanatics of Naruto. That has to be so annoying. Hagoromo-sama didn't mind it. Hagoromo-sama was also born that exalted, thought Fu, having heard the tale of the man from Chome in their conversation. Naruto was like me. He was shunned for most of his life. Now, he's a god worthy of worship. That has to be annoying. Continued Fu with a frown, marring her pretty features at all the overheard conversations about Naruto. It was taxing to her, and she wasn't even Naruto. It's why he's not here right now. To get away, even if he won't admit it. You might be right, replied the giant rhinoceros beetle with 7 tails. Maybe when he returns, we can. Oh, I'm sorry. I wasn't watching where I was going, said Fu, having bumped into a boy wearing round sunglasses and a high-collar coat. Fu saw he was a shinobi from the headband and could see him blushing for some reason. When he didn't speak, Fu just shrugged before waving goodbye. Sorry again. See you around, Shinobi-san. The boy stood still as ever until Fu was clear out of view. Once she was, the boy merely said 2 words. Aburame Shino. His introduction was pointless since she was no longer there. The only thing Shino could think about when looking at her was that she was the finest thing he'd ever laid eyes on. The bug user would find out sometime later that Fu was the Jinchuriki of the world's biggest and strongest insect, and he would fall in love. It was only a matter of time until he found out. 1 week later, seated upon the back of his Tengu, Naruto sat meditating on his winged summon while returning to Konoha. Naruto breathed in and out calmly, just allowing the wind to breeze around him. He felt good. He felt at peace. Hey, Hige, Whiskers. He felt like Tayuya was doing this on purpose now. Agitated, Naruto peeked open one eye to see Tayuya close enough that the tips of their noses were touching. So, you were serious, right? Yeah, you've been more than helpful, said Naruto looking at the girl with a smile. Tayuya smiled back as Naruto confirmed what she was asking. Otto's finished enough. There aren't any bases other than Orochimaru's more elusive ones. Probably one of which is where his right-hand man Kabuto has gone to. He's a loose end. Just like Kimimaro Teme and that crystal bitch. Them too, but they aren't too bad, said Naruto, getting Tayuya to raise an eyebrow. Kabuto feels dangerous. I don't know what he can do, and no one else does either. That means he's an unknown. And the unknown is to be feared, Tayuya-chan. Stop calling me Chan and stop acting as if you're worried, Hige, said Tayuya, getting Naruto to raise an eyebrow. Hige, huh? Can't just say Naruto? You did it before already. No, I refuse. At least you stopped saying sunflower. I didn't like that one. I know. You threw me off this damn thing last time I did, replied Tayuya with a glare that Naruto laughed at. She didn't even really get to fight him for it because after she got in a few choice licks, he threw her off the Tengu again. She didn't try him a second time when she got summoned back. Hige is where I draw the line. It's equally demeaning and less vulgar. Plus, you know you like it. Not really. Well, I like it because it makes me think of your cute cheeks, said Tayuya, refraining from pinching them when she heard Naruto growl. Whatever, I'll get you to say my real name someday. Oh, that sounds kind of sexy. Are you trying to come on to me? Questioned Tayuya, batting her eyelashes at Naruto. Naruto frowned at the girl's antics as she smirked at him. Going to suck not seeing you blow up strongholds. Is it now? At first, you said I was scary, and now you're going to miss it? A little. Not every day you see a fortress get flattened by pure gravity or hit with all 5 main elements at the same time, said Tayuya with a smile. She continued, remembering all she'd seen. My favorite was the super robot you that terminated the eastern hideout. Shirado is probably my favorite of your stupid abilities. Continued Tayuya before looking at Naruto distastefully. You didn't have to let that water prick go. I hate that guy. Hey, he was just a captive, Tayuya. You knew that and still tried to get me to kill him, said Naruto, shaking his head and inadvertently rubbing across Tayuya's nose in the process. He'd forgotten that they were still close, and he already knew what was about to happen. She's going to overreact. I didn't even mean to. Naruto frowned, seeing the excitement in Tayuya's eyes. He stopped her before she could start. No, shut up. I wasn't. Hige-kun. Did you just nuzzle my nose? Questioned Tayuya chippily, getting Naruto's frown to deepen further. It was purely an accident because the girl wanted to talk face to face with him. And he knew she knew it, but she was overreacting again. You did nuzzle my nose. Ah, do you want a big, juicy kiss from your sweet Tayuya-chan? It's much better than nuzzling my nose. I don't like you. Ah, you don't mean it. Come here and pucker up. My lips are soft, said Tayuya while slowly leaning in. The kunoichi grinned a Cheshire smile when Naruto repelled her with gravity off his Tengu again. How she enjoyed messing with him. Yeah, going to suck not doing that too. Chikushodo, said Naruto, summoning Tayuya back as the girl kept grinning at him. Naruto's blush was deep red and covered his entire face. Her lips had touched his for a split second before he launched her off. I didn't think she'd seriously go through with it, thought Naruto, feeling how soft Tayuya's lips were. He should have let her keep kissing him, but it felt weird. She made him feel strange. I don't like you. I know, said Tayuya, still smiling. She moved to sit beside Naruto before pulling out her flute. Before playing, she left him with one last sentence. I don't like you either. The two then made their way back to Konoha to the melodies played by the girl. Konoha. Several hours later. Naruto knew the moment he set foot back in Konoha that he'd be bombarded by the residents that called it home. So, to solve this problem, Naruto just teleported to the Hokage's office. He was glad Hiruzen was still there and could hear Naruto's full debriefing of events past. Well, seeing Naruto's full debriefing considering showing a memory was much easier than giving words. With that out of the way, Naruto teleported once more back home. It was always comforting to come home and see his place. His place was tiny and raggedy, but it was his home, and it felt nice to be back. Opening his door, Naruto saw everything was how he last left it. His tiny kitchen was connected to his tiny living room. His tiny living room had his tiny couch. His tiny couch had a Fu sitting on it. And Fu was sitting right in front of his. "Wait, Fu?" questioned Naruto, seeing the girl wave at him. Well, he wasn't expecting that, but it wasn't the worst thing to see sitting on your couch. It was a lovely thing to have sitting on your couch as far as Naruto was concerned. "They let you out of the hospital already?" "Yeah, they said I only needed rest after keeping me overnight." "I can get that outside of the hospital," said Fu with a bright smile that was infectious because Naruto smiled too. She was supposed to rest in the hospital from her severe injuries at the hands of Akatsuki because they wanted to monitor them. Naruto was sure of it, but she must have escaped after the first day and stayed away. Naruto couldn't blame her because he also hated hospitals. "I've been here since then, just waiting for you to return. It didn't take much to find out where you lived. People exalt you now if you didn't know." "I've noticed," said Naruto, knowing about his current god status. It was what it was. "It'll die down soon, hopefully," continued Naruto before looking at Fu. "So, did you decide on what you wanted to do?" "No, not yet. Hokage-sama said I could take all the time I think I need," said Fu with a smile as Naruto nodded. It made sense. Whatever she chose to do would be life-changing. Both were big choices: become a Konoha kunoichi or live the rest of her days possibly without a village to call home. I want the opportunity to find out which of the two is better for me first. I kind of like Konoha so far, but I don't know. Well, I'd say make that decision for you. I got a cheat sheet when deciding myself. You thought about leaving Konoha? Yeah, my eyes are kind of powerful, said Naruto, getting a deadpan stare from Fu at his humility. His eyes were a lot stronger than just kind of powerful, and he knew it. Just wanted to make sure the village I gave my allegiance to aligns itself with my own beliefs. And you found out Konoha was it? A nod from Naruto got Fu to nod her head in return. That was in Konoha's favor. If Naruto wouldn't mind staying despite being who he was, then that meant Konoha probably was the place to be. Fu wouldn't make her decision off of that. So, you've been gone for a week? Yeah, I was taking out a few bases, is all. One of my bases? Naruto and Fu perked up at the new voice and turned to his doorway. Standing there, Karen was looking at Naruto. She saw the question on his face, and she answered it easily. I would have knocked, but the door was already open. Plus, I felt you the moment you arrived. Easy to track your chakra. I didn't close my door because I saw Fu, and sensing me is pretty easy when I'm not trying to hide, said Naruto, thinking out loud before smiling at Karen. I see you made it. Yeah, I had a guard this whole time. Who? Me. And about those bases, you were doing the damn thing, kiddo. Came a shout from Naruto's window that got everyone's attention. The three turned to see Jiraiya sitting there with a grin on his face. Welcome back, Naruto-sama. No, said Naruto with a frown at the sama. He didn't want to hear that from people like Jiraiya. Don't do that. Even as a joke, no. What? That other redhead calls you Sunflower, and I can't call you Sama jokingly? Questioned Jiraiya, crossing his arms. That's sexist. I don't care. And Tayuya-chan doesn't call me Sunflower anymore. Really? How'd you do it? She still calls me dumbass every time she sees me. Because you're a dumbass, said the girl the two were speaking of. Naruto was getting tired of people appearing in his home. Especially Tayuya, because she'd kicked his door off its hinges with her entrance. She didn't even have to kick the door down, considering Karen hadn't closed it. Naruto would have called her on it, but he was currently fearing for his life based on the killing intent she was throwing his way. And you, Hige, why the fuck did you leave me? I had to walk through your stupid little cult asking me stupid questions about where you were. That shit was annoying, growled Tayuya, stalking toward Naruto slowly. Hey now. Stay back, I say. You and I are done. Why do I have to teleport you places still? Questioned Naruto, with a black rod sliding out of his sleeve to defend himself when she lunged at him. However, it was no use as Tayuya managed to tackle Naruto and wrestle him to the ground. Oi, stop trying to bite me. Naruto and Tayuya were a mess of limbs as she assaulted Naruto in his own home. Smart of her because Naruto couldn't launch her off of him because he could potentially damage his stuff. That was a no-go and gave Tayuya free rein to abuse the Jinchuriki physically. Jiraiya, Karen, and Fu were simply watching the interaction before the Sannin pulled out a notepad. Karen's focus was on Naruto slowly losing the struggle for dominance against Tayuya. Fu stopped watching due to her curiosity about what Jiraiya could be writing. Jiraiya wasn't allowing her to see as he just giggled to himself. "This is good. This is so good," said Jiraiya with a drip of blood coming from his nose. "Oh, this is so good. Kid, you're such an inspiration. Kid's got 3 in his house not even 5 minutes back home," continued Jiraiya before looking at Fu to see her reaction. She didn't get what he meant, which was a good thing. And now that he thought of it, Jiraiya figured why not ask because he was sure the kid wanted to. "Hey, the kid is going on a training trip soon. I was here to tell him it'll take another week and some change to get the route all mapped out." Being a god made him pretty popular, and there are numerous requests to meet him. He was going to ask if you wanted to come with. A training trip? How long? However long it takes the kid to do what he wants to do. "Who's all coming? The Gaki and I are the only ones confirmed, but I'm sure we'll have one more," said Jiraiya, seeing the contemplative look on Fu's face. "It'll be better than sitting around Konoha. Plus, it'll help you decide what you want to do by experiencing more of the world. It's a win-win. I don't have anything else to do," said Fu before shrugging. She'd planned to stay close to Naruto anyway. It was why she'd spent the week in his home waiting for his return. So, why not go on a globetrotting trip with the guy who saved her life? "You said a week? Yeah, and some change. Whenever I can get us all ready to go then, we'll head out." "Okay, I'll be ready then. I'm in." Jiraiya just nodded before seeing Naruto yell indignantly. "No, never. Your flute does not go there. It's going there today. Stop trying to fight it." "Fine, you want to play that game," said Naruto before vanishing. Tayuya growled at Naruto, disappearing only to find out he didn't go far. He was settled right behind her with his hands in the tiger seal. His hands were closing in on Tayuya's backside. Senin Garashi, 1,000 years of death. It need not be said what Naruto just did. Karen and Fu both gasped at the boy's audacity. Jiraiya began rapidly writing more in his notepad and repeatedly calling Naruto his newest muse. Tayuya's cheeks were redder than her hair before Naruto rocketed her off his fingers right into his bedroom. She landed with an audible thud that got Fu and Karen to cringe at how painful it sounded. Naruto held his pose from his latest action before standing abruptly. He waited a second before looking over at the others currently invading his home. "So, I'm going MIA for the night," said Naruto, feeling a goosebump-inducing wave of killing intent wash over the area. It was coming from his bedroom, and Naruto knew it was directed all at him. "I'll be back soon, Fu. Something I want to ask you. And Karen, we'll talk soon too. Sorry to just keep leaving, but, ciao. UMOTHERFUCKER. Naruto vanished just as Tayuya came out of the living room with foam from her mouth and pearly white eyes. Not seeing Naruto, Tayuya turned to the others who witnessed what just happened. "That didn't happen. Got it?" The three of them nodded quickly to avoid the girl's wrath. Tayuya growled before stomping out of Naruto's apartment in search of him. Her hands settled on her pained backside the whole way out. "This training trip with the kid is going to be epic. There's never a dull moment with Naruto," said Jiraiya, smiling at all he'd written during the small interaction. He couldn't wait to see all he'd be able to write on their training trip. It was going to be so good. There was no doubt in the Sannin's mind as he headed off to get back busy setting it up. Jiraiya was ready to hit the road. Bet the kid is ready to roll too. And with that thought, Jiraiya would make haste in ensuring everything was set up. Time to introduce the world to Uzumaki Naruto. "Oh, is that so, Naruto-sama?" "Yes, boss-san. Cereal is technically soup." A conversation between Naruto and an older woman. The two were walking arms linked through the streets of Konoha, chatting all the while. Naruto had her groceries in his free hand as they made their way to her home to put them away. He wasn't the only Naruto afoot as another went sprinting down the road past him. "Play ninja with us, Naruto-sama. Only if you can catch me. Good luck." A gaggle of kids chased this Naruto with an irritated Amino Iruka following behind them. Iruka was the academy's kids teacher, the same as he'd been for Naruto less than a year ago. Iruka loved Naruto's immense growth since the boy's graduation but hated how Naruto was still a disruption to his teaching the youth. The class was supposed to go to the library today, but a kid spotted a Naruto clone, and well, now they weren't going to make it to the library. Iruka sighed before following his class as a third Naruto came into view. This clone was in a small sparring area with a few Konoha shinobi. Ram, ox, and tiger? Mold my chakra and blow? Yes, you'll need a lot of chakra for it, so really pull up a lot. A third Naruto was standing in a training ground with a group of chunin. One chunin stood in front of the others running through the hand seals. The ninja launched a decent-sized fireball before pumping his fist in victory afterward. Numerous other clones were doing the same thing as the first three. Gallivanting about Konoha to ensure they fulfilled Naruto's promise of speaking with them. Pretty easy to do when he could be in multiple places at once. The original Naruto sat serenely with a friend watching over him. Is this not annoying Naruto-kun? Questioned the friend looking at the meditating Jinchuriki. Oh, you have no clue, Ino-chan. The real Naruto sat in the Yamanaka flower shop with his eyes closed and a vein throbbing on his forehead. Out and about the day following his return to Konoha, Naruto was still the most popular person in his home. Good thing he was a master of the Kage Bunshin technique. He could get around to more people at one time. While his clones were doing their thing, Naruto made his way to see what Ino was doing. He remembered wanting to do something nice for her and decided today wouldn't be a bad idea to accomplish this self-made mission. He found her working the counter at her family's flower shop and popped in to say hello. Sadly, since Naruto was doing the clone spam to deal with the citizens, shinobi, he couldn't give her his full attention. He had forgotten to tell his clones to turn their Rinnegan's off. Not like they would have if I told them. Thought Naruto, knowing he wouldn't if he was a clone. It's just, the shared visions were brutal on his mind as the information and feedback kept coming in. They're using jutsus, carrying conversations, goofing off. I can barely keep up. I shouldn't have made so many. Can you describe what it's like? Questioned Ino curiously. There was no one in the store right now, so the blonde kunoichi focused her attention back on her visitor. The vein on your head is pulsating. It looks painful. Well, it's like you're sitting in a dark room, said Naruto, managing to speak calmly despite the pained expression on his face. He looked in anguish, but his voice betrayed that way of thinking. And say in this room, you're watching televisions. 38 of them for me currently. And say all of them are on separate channels that look 3D. As if you were truly living these things despite knowing you are situated in a flower shop with a pretty girl doting over you. Oh, you think I'm pretty? No, I know you're pretty. You always have been, said Naruto earnestly, getting Ino to blush momentarily. He didn't see it since his eyes were closed. Right, dark room, televisions, very 3D. It's about as best as I can describe it. Ouch, I couldn't imagine seeing all of that. My head would explode, said Ino, shaking her head at the thought. A quick peek showed her no one was still coming, so she questioned Naruto. You're not overloading your eyes, are you? You just got back to 6 Tomo, right? Naruto peeked open an eye to see Ino had turned to him fully while she stood behind the register. Naruto smiled at the floral apron she was wearing as the girl looked like, well, a girl. It's weird to think that, probably considering Ino was a girl. Ino was also a kunoichi. The kunoichi title usually took away any girl aspect. Anybody who could kill you was not defined as a girl by societal standards. But Ino somehow blended it in seamlessly, and Naruto thought that was quite the chameleon ability. That's sexist. Girls can be badass and still look girly. Thought Naruto, amending his previous line of thinking. He then realized she'd asked him several questions, and he'd only been staring back at her. No and yes. 6 Tomo can handle the current clone amount no problem as long as I remain focused, said Naruto, reclosing his eyes to do so. Being the original, Naruto was forced to be the bridge between the clones. If any clone tried, they would dispel immediately from the mental strain. No worries, I should be back to full power soon. Which means I could handle even more clones. I'll be able to handle all kinds of feedback then. Hee, I'm sure the villagers will love you even more. Their god is furthering his omnipresence, commented Ino, watching Naruto frown. Ino giggled, seeing his frown at realizing he would keep enabling his new god title accidentally. Ino stopped laughing when she began wondering something. Since you were at 3 Tomo, does that mean you used a powerful jutsu? A nod from Naruto answered her question as she peeked to the door again. Ino saw no one, so she turned back to Naruto. His answer to her question only created another question. What jutsu was it? It was 2 actually, 3 Tomo lost on each one. The first was a far-traveling Shunken Ito. It'll zap my vitality if I travel too far with it, said Naruto, feeling less strained now since some of his clones were dispersing. They weren't meant to spend all day with people. But he did want to say something, at least. He promised he would write before leaving to handle Otto. The second one was the Destroying Souls jutsu I told you about. The Shungoku? Hey, you remembered, and yes, but like, a way more powerful version, said Naruto with a small laugh. Mainly because it not only weakened his eyes like the first, but the true form put him out of commission for 2 days. You want to see what it looks like? It's quite the jutsu. Ino nodded her head, not that Naruto could see, but he already knew she did so. Be wary. You'll feel what I felt. The backlash might stun you some. Ino took a calming breath before nodding her head once more. Naruto peeked open an eye before showing her in a flashback. And like Naruto warned, Ino saw and felt it all through the eyes of Naruto himself. Teleporting to the cave, saving Fu, blowing up the cave, the Shun that destroyed Hidan, and finally ripping out Kakazu's soul. All of that flashed through Ino's head in a second, and she bristled at the quick flashback. Wow, Naruto-kun, how does? Only that much for this, sir? Ino quieted down immediately, hearing a different voice other than Naruto's. Yes, that's how much this particular flower costs, spoke Naruto standing at the counter chatting with the customer. Ino was wondering if she passed out after Naruto showed her that memory. It was possible, but Naruto was handling a customer, so she allowed him to finish first. Be careful. It's not the most durable flower. It'll need lots of love and attention. The man Naruto was talking to looked at the flower before shrugging. It wasn't for him anyway, but he could pass along the knowledge. Thanks for shopping here at Yamanaka's flower shop. Come back soon, shouted Naruto with a wave, getting a wave back. Naruto watched the man head out before turning to Ino. You okay, Ino-chan? I wasn't sure how long you'd be out, so I tried to make you a little comfortable at least. Ino blinked at the comment and looked to see a makeshift bed, consisting of a pillow and thin blanket, was what she was laying on. Confused, Ino stood up from behind the counter and watched the customer leave the flower shop. She turned to Naruto and saw him wearing her apron. Ino smirked, but she wanted to know what happened. You passed out after the memory. It was a bit strong, like I said, explained Naruto with a sheepish grin. Naruto took the apron off himself before placing it back on Ino. Sorry about that. It's been about 30 minutes. I took over for you while you were out. Thanks, and wow, 30 minutes? Questioned Ino, getting a nod from Naruto. Ino just scratched her head at the news before freezing. When she scratched her head, a sparkle caught her eye from her wrist. What? Thought Ino, bringing down her arm to see a black, beaded bracelet on her wrist. It was made of some black metal that shined beautifully, and on the end of it was a Magatama bead colored violet. Ino looked up to see Naruto smiling and figured it was from him. Is this from you? She couldn't help but ask. It is. I remembered thinking after the funeral that I was going to do something nice for you, said Naruto with a smile as his eyes glowed. Ino rose both eyebrows at that as Naruto shrugged. Think nothing of it. I was just really down on myself, but you got me out of that funk with ease. So, this is me showing my gratitude. Wow, thanks, Naruto-kun, spoke Ino, looking down at the bracelet. It's so pretty. It shines purple when the light hits it right, thought Ino, looking back up at Naruto. She gave him a small hug that he was prepared for. Thank you, but you didn't have to do that. I didn't help you expecting something in return. I know, which is why I did this without expecting anything in return, replied Naruto, hugging Ino back before ending it. He held the girl at arm's length before shrugging. I just felt it'd be helpful to you. It's a bit special there, Ino-chan, continued Naruto, intertwining his hand with Ino's. Looking back at Naruto, Ino saw the tomo in his eyes, orbiting his pupils slowly. Channeled chakra through the bracelet. Ino stared into Naruto's hypnotic eyes for a few seconds longer before realizing he had asked her to do something. Channeling chakra through her new bracelet, Ino found herself in a place only viewable through her family's signature jutsu. She was in Naruto's psyche looking back at herself. The view was weird because she was still looking at Naruto too. Her family's signature jutsu didn't operate like this, but it felt uncannily like it. Like a dark room, but it's like you're watching televisions. Not as many as me, but 2 is pretty cool, no? Naruto-kun, isn't this the Shintention, mind-body switch? It feels so different, commented Ino, able to move her body. She held up her hand before looking at Naruto. She made him move his hand too and forced him to wave simultaneously as her. I can control my body and his? Yes, you can. I infused your bracelet with ninjendo. Ino blinked in surprise before realizing Naruto could technically read her mind. The soul-ripping power? Yes, but its powers are vaster than simply ripping out souls. It's more human-oriented and perfect for your brand of ninjutsu, said Naruto, stopping his own body. He'd allowed Ino to control him to show her she could do so. But now, he wanted to show her more. Your signature jutsu was probably the first choice. If you have another mind power, try it out too, continued Naruto, removing his hand from Ino's and getting her view to turn back to regular. She no longer could see through Naruto's eyes as he'd disrupted the connection. Or do you not have another one? If so, that'll be a bummer. I have another one. Tu-chan taught me this one after the exams. It's my second one and the last of them so far, said Ino before placing her hand on Naruto's head. Ruffling his hair made Naruto glare at the mind reader. She smiled before channeling chakra and mentally thinking of the jutsu she wanted to use. Psycho Denshin, Psycho Mind Transmission. Just like the first time, Ino found herself immediately in her technique. Right before the kunoichi was a giant scroll that went along with how her jutsu worked. She could view Naruto's memories by simply unraveling the scroll before her. Go ahead. Ino turned to see Naruto there, nodding his head. It's fine. Ino nodded back before holding her hands out. The scroll began to unravel itself as one of Naruto's memories showed itself to the kunoichi. It was him sitting atop his bed with Ino's bracelet in his hands. He was looking in a mirror as he began to speak. Hi Ino-chan, I just got finished with this thing. Ino watched the memory Naruto hold the jewelry up in his hand before channeling chakra through it. The purple Magatama bead glowed as Naruto smiled. He then turned back to the mirror, almost like he knew he'd be talking to her, and continued speaking. I made this bracelet with the Inyaten yin-yang release thing I talked about atop the Hokage mountain. The one Hagoromo used to create the 9 Biju and his ninja tools. And I made this one for you. It's infused with ninjendo, which you should find helpful. It should make all of your mind techniques much easier to use. I hope you like it. The memory ended, and Ino was stunned. Not only did Naruto give her a nice-looking piece of jewelry, but he also gave her something that would enhance her main abilities as a ninja. What got her was how he made it feel like it was nothing for him to do it. Naruto was too incredible. She would never call him a god, but he made it hard not to. You can't snatch souls or anything like the Pathkin, but I hope you still like it, said Naruto, getting a nod from Ino before his eyes widened when a memory began to play. Ino wanted to give Naruto another hug until a horrible noise reached her ears. Ino turned back, and her mouth hung open at what was playing. Naruto was panicking. Oh, no. To impress a chick. Helicopter D. Nope, shouted Naruto, removing Ino from his mind immediately. Na Naruto-kun. Was that you singing in the shower? And swinging your. Bye Ino-chan, hope you enjoy your gift. Shouted a red-faced Naruto, vanishing to escape the embarrassment he was feeling. Ino did enjoy her gift. Both of them. The bracelet was the better of the two, but Ino laughed at the second one. An accidental gift it was. She'd seen a nude Naruto, singing some ridiculous song and following along with the lyrics. Ino put out her pointer finger before spinning it in a circle to mimic Naruto's actions. He was bigger than my finger. Ino giggled again before admiring her bracelet and operating her family's shop. The time with Naruto was a great start to her day. With Naruto, face still red, Naruto appeared atop his father's stone head quite miffed. Not only did Ino see him in the buff, but she saw him doing something stupid that Jiraiya had told him. One of those things you hear from an older dude, and you write it off when they say it but eventually try out. Helicopter dick? That's the one you chose to mess with me with? questioned Naruto as he heard a deep belly laugh reverb across his mind. Helicopter dick, helicopter dick. To impress a chick, do the helicopter dick, sung Kurama in Naruto's head as the boy in question appeared before the massive fox. Kurama turned to look at Naruto and saw him glaring at him. I have no clue how the perverted man came up with the concept of a helicopter, but the song is catchy. And you know it was funny how I got you, admit it. Naruto kept glaring at the massive fox before his lip twitched upward. He'd give it to the fox. That was pretty funny. Kurama should know that Naruto wouldn't allow it to end like that. No one got one over on Naruto and got away with it. He would have his revenge. Did you do that because you want to talk to me finally? No, I don't want to talk to you. Okay, so you did it to be a prick? In a way, and possibly because I wanted your attention while I spoke some thoughts I've been having. If you happen to overhear, then it is what it is, said Kurama, resting his head down on his paws to look at Naruto. Seeing the boy tilted his head curiously, Kurama continued speaking. I don't like you still. But, I'm glad you finally realize you aren't the man who created me, informed Kurama, getting Naruto to nod. He wasn't Hagoromo, and Kurama had been right the whole time. He felt terrible for taking so long to realize it himself. It seems that you possess some of his compassion. You aim to set my brethren and me free? Yes. This whole Jinchuriki thing feels like a failure. And you aim to correct that on your travels? I'm not sure if I'll be able to correct them. The Akatsuki guy controls the thing I need, said Naruto, thinking of the Gedo Mazo. Since its capture and sealing by Hashirama and his wife, Mito, the fox wanted its freedom. If he could get the statue, he wouldn't have to keep Kurama trapped within him. He could place the Gedo Mazo there and take Kurama out of his gut to roam free once more. Naruto also figured that if Kurama felt that way, who's to say that the others like him didn't share the same sentiment? Naruto wouldn't take them if they didn't want to go. But, those that did would be coming with him. Naruto only needed the Gedo Mazo and its life force to ensure the hosts would live after the extraction. It would keep him alive, but finding it and sealing it within himself was his only obstacle to achieving his goal. Once I find this pain, I'll disrupt his connection to the Gedo Mazo and seal it within myself, said Naruto with his eyes glowing as he held Kurama's gaze. Kurama ignored the warm feelings he could feel bubbling up. Naruto's words and his demeanor were getting to the Biju as he spoke about its impending freedom. After that, I'll be able to accomplish that goal. You'll be free of me and anyone else for as long as I live. It's a promise. Kurama loved what it was hearing. The fox didn't show it externally. It didn't want Naruto thinking he was allowed to converse with it because of what he planned to do. Kurama wouldn't give any cordiality until the boy did it. I would, but the kid is annoying, thought Kurama, remembering what he'd seen of Naruto's life. Granted, he was much better now with Hagoromo's power. Kurama would give him that, but he made no promises of being friendly just because Naruto was freeing him. He'd already been free, and getting Naruto to release him only put them at even for what he'd gone through. I'll be waiting for you to make good on your promise. Will do, Kurama-kun, said Naruto before his mind shifted. Kurama's eyes widened when he realized what Naruto was doing. Payback for earlier, catch ya later. You didn't bring him back. Kurama didn't get out what he wanted to say as an enormous toad crushed him. Naruto had changed his mindscape to the moment the Yondaime arrived to stop its rampage on Naruto's birth. Was he about to be forced to live through the moment again? Naruto was officially annoying. The fox determined it, and Naruto would never speak. Kurama did have to admit it was a bit funny. Good one, kid, good one, said Kurama before growling. This battle wouldn't go the same as last time. Bring it on, big sunflower man. I'll rip you to pieces now that that blasted Uchiha no longer controls me. Kurama would have fun, rewriting history. Hokage's office. Hokage-sama, and Uzumaki Karen is here to meet with you. Ah, yes, send her in, spoke Hiruzen, setting down the paper he was looking at. Standing up and smoothing out his clothes, Hiruzen waited for a few seconds until Karen walked her way in. Karen, a pleasure to see you again. Hello, Hokage-sama, greeted Karen before surprising Hiruzen. I would like to become a Konoha shinobi. Really? Are you sure? Questioned Hiruzen, looking at the girl with a raised eyebrow. He saw her nod with a smile, and Hiruzen couldn't help but ask. It was such a quick start to their conversation, but the cage wanted context. If I may ask, what made you come to a decision so fast? I only asked 2 days ago. My cousin came back yesterday, said Karen with a smile that got Hiruzen to understand immediately. Ah, Naruto, he must have talked with her yesterday when he returned. Thought Hiruzen, giving Karen a warm smile. The cage-figured Naruto explained to Karen how they were family. Easy to do when he had a dojutsu that could make the connection near instantly. Well, that is good. You'll have to give me a day to set things up. I have the perfect place for you. You do? I'd figured you might say yes, and based on your abilities, yes. The barrier team? Karen saying that got Hiruzen to raise another eyebrow at the girl. Naruto said that'd be the easiest fit for a censor like me. I would think Naruto-kun is right, wouldn't you? Questioned Hiruzen back as he continued. The Kagura Shingen, Mind's Eye of the Kagura, is a special sensory ability found solely in the Uzumaki clan. They were the best censors in the world, and I believe you'll grow to be one of them. Something like that could be very valuable to the village, continued Hiruzen before shaking his head. He wanted to make this clear immediately. Do not think because I can recognize the abilities you possess that I only allow you entry to Konoha because of them. You could be a civilian if you choose. Or choose to leave if you want. Karen was touched. Hiruzen felt that way. She'd felt awkward hearing one of the most powerful men in the world speak so highly of her, but he somehow removed it with his humbleness. Knowing Hiruzen felt like Naruto, that even if she didn't have her sensing ability, she'd have been given a home here was comforting to the redhead. Naruto would have ensured it due to being related to her by blood. At least that's the vibe she got from him after they conversed last night. And it was the vibe she was getting now from the Hokage. Only, she'd already made her decision. Thank you for the option, but I'm perfectly fine being a ninja. I'm glad to hear. Please, return tomorrow, and I should have everything set up, said Hiruzen seeing his assistant at the door. I believe my 10 o'clock is here. Have a good day, Karen-chan. Thank you, Hokage-sama. Karen turned to leave, and her eyes widened, seeing who was walking in. A dark-haired boy her age looked incredibly good to Karen. He noticed her stare and blush, which caused her face to redden even more. Hey, replied Karen watching the boy walk in past her and greet the Hokage. She heard his name when Hiruzen greeted him and cemented it in her memory forever. Sasuke. She liked Konoha way more now. Sometime later. Ohio. Welcome to Ichiraku's. My name is Ayame, and I will be. Hi Ayame-chan, no need to go through the intro. The brown-haired girl, Ayame, blinked hearing her name spoken so familiarly and the line that followed it. She opened her eyes, and they lit up in excitement at who was at her restaurant. Oh, it's Naruto-sama, said Ayame smiling when Naruto frowned. I'm just kidding, Naruto-kun. I know you probably hate the new title, huh? You have no clue Ayame-chan, said Naruto before gesturing to his left. Ayame didn't even see the person Naruto had walked up with. She is a tanned girl with an interesting aesthetic due to her mint green hair and orange eyes. Ayame-chan, this is Fu. Fu-chan, this is Ichiraku Ayame. Fuzaku no Ichi, and Ayame-chan is 1/3 of Kami's gift to humanity. 1/3? Questioned Fu curiously after exchanging pleasantries with Ayame. Yes, Fu-chan. She takes the order. Ji-san in the back cooks it, which makes him the second third. And finally, said Naruto as his Rinnegan was replaced with comical hearts. Naruto sighed like a romantic just thinking of it. Then comes the best part. The final third, ramen. I like being a part of Kami's gift to humankind, said Ayame with a smile before whipping out a notepad. Your usual Naruto-kun? Questioned Ayame, getting Naruto to sigh romantically again. She took that as a yes before turning to Fu. Can I get you anything? I've never actually had ramen before, said Fu, getting Naruto to stop daydreaming about ramen and turn to her with surprise. Fu simply shrugged at his look before pointing at him. I'll just have what he's having. Alrighty, 2 Narutos coming up then. Holler if you need anything, said Ayame before walking to the back to relay their order. Wait, not only does she know your order by heart, but your order is named after you? Yeah, I think I'm roughly 10% of their sales since I started coming here 5 years ago. Wow, you must love ramen. It's a gift from Kami. I have too, said Naruto with another romantic sigh. Fu laughed at how much he seemed to love this food and couldn't wait to try it herself. That was until she noticed something that got her to frown. Naruto felt her frown and turned to see what was wrong. What is it? You alright? Yeah, it's just, said Fu looking past Naruto. Naruto turned to see what she was looking at and quirked an eyebrow. That guy has been following me ever since I met him. That guy? Yeah, no way, that's Shino. He doesn't bug anybody, said Naruto, internally laughing at his pun. Bug anybody, and Shino was a bug lover. Naruto cracks himself up. Wait, there was no way. Looking at Fu and realizing who she was, Naruto couldn't fathom that being the case. There's no way he could know. His name is Shino? He hasn't spoken a word to me in the 3 times I've seen him, said Fu looking back to Naruto. She could feel Shino hadn't moved and stopped caring. It was the same thing he did the other 2 times. What do you mean there's no way he could know? Shino is an Aburame. They're a clan of bug users, said Naruto, getting Fu to tilt her head curiously. You have Chomei-chan within you. The biggest and strongest bug on the planet. Oh, yes, said Naruto with a smile. He's harmless for the most part, but I'm sure he subconsciously knows somehow and is now infatuated with you. Continued Naruto before smirking. I'm going to tell him about Chomei. He'll probably lose his mind. What? No, please don't. I don't want anyone knowing. Aw, I've never seen the guy so much as blink. Knowing about Chomei would probably have him bursting with emotion, and I wish to see that. No, please, begged Fu, getting Naruto to frown. Fu had nabbed his arm as she made him sit back down. I don't want anyone here to know. Please don't tell him. Fine, I won't tell, said Naruto before turning back to Shino. Naruto waved to the boy and got a head nod in return. Despite his location being known, Shino didn't move from his stalking. Hopefully, he realizes that the stalking might get a bit creepy. I don't mind it. It's not like he's doing anything other than looking, said Fu with a shrug. She hadn't let go of Naruto's arm as she continued talking. Looking is free. Touching will cost you. You've been hanging out with Jiraiya-sensei, haven't you? He might be a sage. His words stick with you, said Fu before seeing Naruto's nostrils widen. Ramen, shouted Naruto, turning to see Ayame with a piping hot bowl for him. The bowl was in front of 8 other bowls that came with his order, 9 bowls of each ramen flavor that Ichiraku's offered. The 9-tailed Jinchuriki would laugh at the symbolism some other time. It's time to eat. Itadakimasu. Fu watched with a hint of disgust and mostly fascination as Naruto pigged out on the bowls before him. He just started but was already on bowl number 3 within the first minute. It was like he was inhaling the stuff with how fast he was putting it down. Fu saw her own 9 bowls settled before her and decided she might as well dig in too. Itadakimasu, shouted Fu before taking her first bite. And then, the weirdest thing happened. Fu could feel every nerve in her body tingling. It was the craziest feeling ever that disappeared the moment she swallowed the ramen she'd put in her mouth. Every bite is like that. Fu heard Naruto in between his gulping down the broth of his 4th bowl and saw him move to his 5th. Kami's gift. Fu could only nod her head. It was the best thing she'd ever had. It tasted so good. And she couldn't stop herself from pigging out just like Naruto. She'd even let go of his arm finally to dig in. Who knew a Jinchuriki was not only the host to a very powerful Biju but also a lover of ramen? If Naruto and Fu were the only Jinchuriki you used, that statement was 100% true. That night. It's such a beautiful night. Words spoke by Naruto while standing at the end of a dock. A dock that oversaw a lake. Naruto could see his breath in front of his face as he stood calmly, taking in the night air. It was so peaceful. His day had been hectic since the morning with his clone usage. He'd probably have to do that every day until the day he left, but it'd be alright. Naruto didn't mind it that much. I do hope it stops soon, said Naruto with a sigh. It probably wouldn't, but the boy could hope. At least in a week, he'd be on the road traveling the world. The world is probably going to do the same as Konoha. There have already been some people trying to storm the gate and meet me. Who knew the Rinnegan was so popular? Naruto did because Hagoromo was treated like a deity back in his day. And that was primarily because of his fabled eyes. It was what it was. I'll be numb to it soon enough, said Naruto before the tomo in his eyes began to swirl. Think it's time I did this. I hope you haven't removed your bracelet yet. Shikushodo. Singing a lovely tune to herself, Ino felt so good and warm. She'd had a relatively great day, and that was something of itself. A great day was hard to come by. It was ruined when a giant visual of Naruto's eyes flashed in her head. She was confused because she found herself looking directly at him after it vanished. Naruto-kun? She didn't know he'd summoned her above a lake. She splashed into the frigid cold water helplessly. Weirdly though, Naruto wasn't laughing like he should have been. He'd just gotten pretty good revenge on Ino by dunking her in cold water so unceremoniously. Naruto wasn't laughing because Ino was naked. Her feeling good and warm was due to her being in the shower. Meaning, Naruto happened to summon a very naked Ino on accident. The girl fell pretty fast but, Naruto caught all of what made her a girl, and a blush rose to his cheeks. "Oops," said Naruto, creating a clone. "Yeah, summon her home." The clone vanished to handle its duty. Naruto watched Ino pop her head up out of the cold lake and turned to him. "Well, payback's a. Nah, I didn't mean for you to be, my bad." "This was your revenge? Oh, it is so on now. Naruto-kun," shouted Ino, making her way out of the lake. She must have been very comfortable in her skin because she didn't cover up at all when stepping out. Naruto put up placating hands when he saw Ino punching into her palm. "You're going to get it." With a poof, the clone saved Naruto. For now, at least. I hope Eros-sensei hurries up with that trip. He was already avoiding Tayuya. Now, Ino was added to the list too. 1 week later. Where the fuck is the whiskered bastard? Tayuya was furious. It was evident from what she just yelled in the middle of Konoha. The genjutsu specialist was very irritated. Naruto had avoided her since that day he stuck his "Where the fuck is the whiskered bastard?" shouted Tayuya again, trying to forcefully not think about what happened. She saw Naruto this week, but it happened to be a clone each time. She wouldn't maim a clone for 2 reasons. 1, the clones were usually with a civilian or shinobi. It wasn't cool to disrupt what they were doing for the civilians and shinobi. Tayuya wasn't that merciless. The second reason was that a shadow clone would dispel. That was just no good either. Naruto wouldn't feel her wrath because the clone would vanish after the first bit of distress it felt. No, Tayuya needed the original. Sadly, she couldn't find him anywhere. "Ino-chan, hey, you know I'm just a clone, right?" Tayuya perked up hearing a Naruto clone sound, fearful of his well-being. Someone else was hunting Naruto? Wait, what are you doing with that bracelet? You may not be Naruto but I can always find him through you, right? Tayuya peeked around the corner to see a platinum blonde speaking ominously to a Naruto clone she managed to corner. "I'm not letting you touch me," said the Naruto clone, moving to avoid Ino's hand just as she reached toward him. He'd have avoided it if a particular tune didn't hit his ears that froze him. A genjutsu wouldn't hold Naruto, not even a clone. But, it did pause him long enough for Ino to tap his shoulder. With that simple touch, Ino found herself in the clone's psyche. Luckily for her, Naruto didn't have a few dozen clones out and about. He only had 7 to choose from, and even luckier for her, the original Naruto's view was central. And she could see him panic, knowing she knew where to find him. "Why didn't I do this before?" questioned Ino rhetorically with a smirk before ending her jutsu. Ino saw the fearful eyes of the Naruto clone before turning to her unknown helper. "Who are you?" "Someone who may share your interest in finding the original him," spoke Tayuya, pointing to the clone Naruto. "North Gate. He's getting ready to leave with Jiraiya-sama." "Leave?" questioned Tayuya, following after the blonde. Tayuya took notice of the Magatama bead on the end of Ino's bracelet and gasped. "Hige-kun gave you something too?" The nickname got Ino to turn back, and so did Tayuya's stating of too. It meant she must have gotten something from Naruto, but Ino didn't see a bracelet on her wrist. "I see you are looking, but he made earrings for me." Ino watched Tayuya pull back her hair to reveal 2 earrings made of the same black material as her bracelet. And dangling from the ends of them were a single Magatama bead each. Unlike her purple, Tayuya's Magatamas shined a dark pink when the light hit them. "Why is yours pink? Is pink your favorite color?" "Hell no, I hate pink." "Why, is that why he made yours purple?" "I think so. He made mine pink because he says my hair isn't red," growled Tayuya, remembering Naruto's reasonings for her gift, for helping him be pink. She hated pink. It was such a girl's color. Teme could have at least asked first. "In case you didn't know, he can summon you anytime he wants while you're wearing that." "I noticed," said Ino, twitching a bit. She found that out a second before being dunked in frigid cold water. Ino then peeked an eye back to look at Tayuya once more. He went with pink? Your hair does look red." "I know, right? I hate that prick for saying pink." Looks red, but when you look at it, your hair is dark pink. Probably because of how the sun hits it. Tayuya looked at Ino and frowned. Who are you again? Someone who shares your interest in finding Naruto-kun, said Ino, turning her head forward to the north gate. She ignored Tayuya's grumbles of swears and noticed the large gathering of people at the north gate. There he is. He drew such a big crowd. We're going to miss you, Naruto-sama. Travel safely. Marry me. The last shout got a couple of cheers and wolf whistles from the crowd. Naruto stood before Jiraiya and Fu, simply waving to the people sending him off. The three looked prepared for long travel as they all had backpacks filled with items for a long trip. Naruto was finishing up waving to the people gathered to wish him well on his journey so they could depart. Thank you all. I hope to return soon. While Naruto was waving, he noticed Ino enter the crowd. He could see her smirking at him. She wouldn't attack him now. No, Yamanaka Ino had better manners than that. See you when you return, Naruto-kun, thought Ino as her bracelet glowed purple. She saw Naruto's eyes widen as her smirk deepened. She was projecting her thoughts to him, and he could hear them. I can't wait until you get back. Payback will be mine. Good luck, said Naruto in reply via mental feedback. Ino's bracelet glowed purple, not of her own volition, as a rainbow hologram of Naruto appeared before her. The rainbow Naruto wasn't visible to the people gathered since he was in her mind. In case you miss me, you can call anytime. Ino just smiled before nodding her head. She would wait, and that got Naruto to exhale a breath mentally. He could deal with Ino later. She wouldn't hold a grudge for however long this trip would take. At least Naruto hoped she wouldn't. Naruto then turned to the crowd and saw Karen and the Hokage smiling. The barrier team had accepted her, and they were already praising her. She would do well. Naruto saw some of the others in the Rookie 12 standing not too far away, waving at him as well. Hell, everyone was there. It looked like unless they were on a mission. The only thing was, Naruto felt like he was missing something. Hige. Oh, right, that something was a someone. Hey, Tayuya-chan, greeted Naruto calmly. Naruto turned to see the girl ready to bloody his head with the business end of her flute. Too bad for her, Naruto froze her in midair with his gravity powers. You can't still be mad, can you? What do you think? Questioned Tayuya, not caring what she looked like trying to beat up a god in front of his cult. I'd still be mad. Not helping Fu-chan, said Naruto, turning to see the Jinchuriki girl shrug. Naruto turned back to Tayuya and smiled at her. He saw her earrings glowing in their dark pink hue. What did hers do again? Thought Naruto before hearing three smoke clouds poof behind him. Alright, you had those summoned things. Chikushodo was yours. Like Ino, Tayuya's earrings were outfitted with unique properties. For her, Naruto chose the animal path. It was straightforward. There wasn't much he could do to help her with her genjutsu, not like she even needed it. But when they were sacking auto bases, the girl had trouble getting out her summonings. Not that she couldn't, but, without Orochimaru's curse-marked boost, Tayuya couldn't dredge up the chakra necessary without severely draining her reserves. Naruto's earrings erased that drawback, considering it took nothing to channel the minuscule amount of chakra to her earrings which summoned her Doki, rage ogres, with merely a thought. They were the three things she summoned right behind Naruto, and they were breathing down his neck quite aggressively. Do you want to come on the trip? Questioned Naruto, not even worried about the summons behind him. Tayuya was smirking as her ogres all rose their weapons to bash Naruto's head in. She stopped mentally commanding them and looked at him quizzically upon hearing his question. I wasn't sure what you were going to do after the auto stuff, so I never asked. But, since you're still here, I figured why not. So, want to come? Go with you? And dumbass and Fu? Questioned Tayuya, getting an indignant look from Jiraiya. How come he got called out of his name, but Fu didn't? He wouldn't get the chance to call her on it as Tayuya just laughed. Peeved, as if I would want to go with you anywhere anymore. I'll pass. Alright, well, we're off then, said Naruto, setting Tayuya down with his gravity powers before turning to Jiraiya. Let's get on with it, Ero-sensei. Sure thing, kid, you good to go, Fu? Questioned Jiraiya, getting a nod from the cheery girl before the three of them departed. Tayuya stood frozen, next to her Doki, watching Naruto begin leaving Konoha. She forgot all about beating him down when she realized he was seriously just going. Oi, Hige! shouted Tayuya, getting Naruto to stop and turn back to look at her. He waited a few seconds for her to say something, as she eventually did. "Don't die out there." "Hey, I won't. See you in a minute, Tayuya-chan," said Naruto with a wave before turning around and continuing. Tayuya just watched Naruto's fading form and couldn't believe he was gone. She said what she said because she expected Naruto to beg her to go. She'd deny him again before finally agreeing if he'd stop groveling. That didn't happen at all. And it made her sad seeing Naruto get further and further away. She wanted to go. I know. Why'd she lie like that? Tsunere, I bet. Tayuya growled, overhearing conversations from the group of people behind her. She may have wanted to go, but she still had an image to uphold. And she wouldn't be taking any of that from the people behind her. Listen here, you Naruto worshipping, cult being sons of 58, 59, Chikushodo. Bitches, I'll kick. All of your asses. What the fuck? Finished Tayuya, seeing Naruto had summoned her. Told you I'd see you in a minute, spoke Naruto, having counted to 60 before summoning Tayuya. Quote. Tayuya just looked at Naruto and saw him smirking. Oh, he was a cold piece of work for what he'd just done. And Tayuya made sure he knew how she felt about being hoodwinked. I don't like you. I doubt it, especially considering what Ino-chan told me via brain link. You looked so sad watching me go. It nearly broke my heart, said Naruto, wrapping an arm around Tayuya's shoulder and holding her close. He then made her walk with him as they followed behind the smirking Jiraiya and Fu. Naruto had gotten her good, and they all knew it. We all knew you wanted to go. Unless you had another reason for staying in Konoha after I told you you could do whatever you wanted? I was staying to kick your ass for. Sticking his fingers up your butt. Thanks, Fu, said Tayuya lowly with a blush on her face. Ah, that's in the past, Tayuya-chan. We live in the present. And presently, said Naruto, hugging the blushing girl tighter to him. We're on a training trip. And by training trip, I mean vacation. Continued Naruto, smiling happily. He'd seen the world through Hagoromo's memories, but he wanted to see what had happened to it since then. And this trip was perfect. Well, it's a training trip since I can get loads better. And so will you. I need my assistant to be ready for all the wild things ahead of us. Train me? I'm already awesome. Yeah, you are, but I'm going to make you awesomer. I am your sensei now, and you're going to love how strong I make you, said Naruto ominously, getting Tayuya to swallow the lump in her throat nervously. I didn't want to be here, said Tayuya weakly as Naruto just hugged her even tighter. I know, Tayuya-chan, but you're here now, so enjoy it while you can, said Naruto with a very sinister chuckle. Training starts tomorrow. Tayuya didn't like the sound of that. Hopefully, this trip will be over soon. Unfortunately for her, it was only the beginning. Hige. Yes, Tayuya-chan, can you tell dumbass to stop asking me stupid shit? They're only questions. Plus, you don't have to answer. Naruto stepped in stride next to Tayuya, unbothered by her ire or irritated growling. She should have seen this coming. They were in a group that had Jiraiya the Sannin in it. When something perverted happened, Jiraiya would be all over it. Hige, just tell him. He doesn't do it when I ask, but maybe if you say. I can't make Jiraiya-sensei do anything he doesn't want to do. Same as you. You forced me to go on this trip. You wanted to go, responded Naruto, getting Tayuya to growl. Naruto knew he was correct, and he didn't feel the need to keep talking about it. Instead, he continued his earlier point. Unless I fight sensei, I can't make him do anything. Even when I do, he'll still do it anyway because that's who he is. Not to mention, it doesn't bother me, so fight your own battle. Huh, guess that means you're going to answer up, Pinky, said Jiraiya, getting Tayuya to growl more. Her hair wasn't pink, and she wouldn't have Jiraiya calling her that. Too bad for her, he'd continue for as long as she called him a dumbass. Now, what did you and Kiddo do in his tent last night? Come, spare no details here. We did nothing, snarled Tayuya with a mild blush tinting her cheeks. A finger point to the Rinnegan wielder as she continued. I already explained this is his fault once. Hige invited me on this trip like 12 seconds before you all left. I didn't have anything, so you chose Naruto's tent over Fu's? Her being a girl would have kept it less suspicious, but you chose Naruto's. Why? He has a bigger tent. You slept in his tent for 2 nights in a row. Even after I chided you the first night about it. Not like a night's rest would have given Fu a bigger tent, dumbass. Why wouldn't I sleep there twice? There's more space. You could have bought a tent at the store we stopped at yesterday, interjected Fu, trying to get to the bottom of this too. She was just as hooked as Jiraiya. Naruto-sama stopped so you could stock up on items for the trip. There was a nice tent there, and Naruto-sama even offered to pay for it. The tent was like a bazillion ryo. I wasn't going to make him pay for it. It wasn't a bazillion ryo to Yuya-tan. It was 10,000 ryo. Tayuya blinked at the new honorific but disregarded it to keep arguing her case. Thanks for the correction, Fu. But that's still a lot to spend. Not for Naruto-sama it isn't, informed Fu with a smile. Tayuya and Jiraiya's jaws dropped, hearing the Jinchuriki girl's following tidbit of information. He has over 1 billion ryo after beating Kakazu and taking his fortune. Jiraiya and Tayuya both slowly turned their heads to Naruto. Naruto could feel their stares and opened his eyes to look at both of them. What, everybody good? Questioned Naruto, letting his chakra flow. Jiraiya and Tayuya both shook their heads immediately as Naruto smiled. He reclosed his eyes as he continued walking in peace. It was simple mathematics for the two. Jiraiya was the higher-ranked shinobi, but he couldn't beat Naruto in a fight, and Tayuya already knew she couldn't. And a fight looked to be the only way to his fortune the two had no clue about until just now. Nobody there would discuss it further because it wasn't important to either of them. Jiraiya quickly went back to discussing Tayuya's sleeping arrangements some more. Did the two of you cuddle? Shut up. Who was the little spoon? Shut the fuck up, dumbass. So no spoon? Did you both fork? Hige, please tell him to stop. Tayuya turned to see Naruto pulling out a poncho. She blinked curiously at the item as he noticed her stare. What the fuck is that for? Protection. Jiraiya-sensei told me to bring one, said Naruto placing on his poncho. Tayuya watched Fu pull out her poncho along with Jiraiya grabbing his. She saw them all put their cloaks on before Naruto grabbed her attention. You're the only one not prepared since you didn't grab a poncho as I told you to. You do know where we're headed, right? I do, but the weather can't be that bad, said Tayuya before she was hit by blistering heat. They'd stepped from under the forest canopy right into the sun's light. Tayuya cringed before her eyes adjusted, and she couldn't believe what she was seeing. What the fuck? The landscape just changes like that? Yeah, it's a sudden shift from the land of fire to the land of wind, informed Jiraiya as Tayuya turned her head back. She could see the forest of the land of fire not 3 paces back before it shifted immediately to the desert. It was like someone drew a line on the earth and made it so. Only one day until we're in Sunagakure. Let's get to it. Fu nodded and followed Jiraiya as Naruto kept Tayuya from doing the same. Naruto kept Tayuya from following, and she was confused as to why. I brought an extra. You can use it if you want. Tayuya batted her eyelashes at the Kyuubi Jinchuriki. Ah, Hige-kun, you didn't have to. I don't have to do a lot of things. I just do. I always have, replied Naruto coolly before smiling as he moved closer. Tayuya blushed at Naruto being so close. He was only putting the poncho on her, but she couldn't fight down the red tinting her cheeks. Not because he was giving her a poncho or that he was putting it on. No, it was because she noticed something weird while looking at him. Why the fuck is the light hitting him like that? It makes his stupid smile and his eyes look good. Naruto made sure the poncho was on correctly before pulling out a storage scroll. A poof of smoke later, and Naruto held 2 straw hats. He held Tayuya's gaze as he held up one to her. Yes, but why am I not berating him for treating me like a child? I could have done this on my own. I'm guessing silence means yes? Naruto put on his hat before moving to put Tayuya's on for her as well. Tayuya's blush deepened as Naruto needed to lean closer to place on the straw hat. They were face to face until Naruto moved back to look at her. Nodding after his appraisal, Naruto followed after Jiraiya and Fu into the land of wind. Tayuya only watched him go as she couldn't move. What is wrong with me? Why is my face on fucking fire and my no? There's no way, thought Tayuya, paralyzed at the idea. She couldn't be. Nope, not happening. No, nope. Hey, why are you just standing here? Come on. Tayuya's blush moved to cover her entire face because Naruto had teleported back to her. He grabbed her hand and began to walk once more. She couldn't help but get moving now. Tayuya was adamant she didn't enjoy how nice Naruto's hand felt holding hers. It must be this weather. It's got me all flustered and thinking Hige is nope. I refuse to think that because no, thought Tayuya, willing her blush to go down. It wasn't going down because Naruto's hand felt good holding hers. She needed to make him stop. I can walk on my own, by the way. I don't need your help. You can let go of my hand anytime, pervert. Not a pervert but, right, sorry. I just thought, well, never mind. Naruto let go of her hand as Tayuya frowned. Is something wrong? Huh? Oh, your hand was sweaty, said Tayuya, not realizing she'd frowned. Luckily for her, Naruto didn't pick up on how she felt. I don't miss him holding my hand. And why the fuck am I still blushing? I do not like Naru. Hurry up, Naruto and Pinky. Kiss already or something. Fu and I are tired of waiting. Naruto shook his head at the joke as Tayuya growled. Shut up, why would Hige and I kiss? Because you're a tsundere. What the fuck does that mean? I heard some civilian call me it also. He, you'll figure it out, Pinky. Or maybe you won't, who knows? Tayuya growled at the sage's words before following behind Naruto. Naruto was wiping off his hand, thinking it was sweaty as Tayuya shook her head at his gullible nature. They'd be in Sunagakure by tomorrow. Hopefully, she'd figure out what was wrong with herself by then. The next day. Halt. State your name and business. Hello. My name is Jiraiya, and I'm here for a visit, spoke Jiraiya, lifting the hood of his cloak to show his face. The guards recognized him as he pointed to the small contingent with him. This is my little ragtag team of kids. This one is Fu, continued Jiraiya, pointing to the Nanabi Jinchuriki. Fu gave a happy wave as Jiraiya pointed to the other two. Pinky, there is Tayuya, and the kid is Naruto. Sup chumps, greeted Tayuya with a snort. Yo, greeted Naruto with a wave as he tilted up the brim of his hat. The four guards standing at the gate all saw Naruto and their eyes widened in shock. They could see the purple hues of his eyes and knew who he was. He was only the biggest story in the world at the moment. You're Uzumaki Naruto, said one of the guards shakily. Naruto nodded his head as the Suna shinobi pulled out a bingo book. This Uzumaki Naruto? Yes. I am he, said Naruto looking at the book's cover. He could see his picture on the front of it, and all that entailed it. Second coming of the Rikudo is big shoes to fill, don't you think? The gate guards said nothing in return. They merely sat frozen, looking at Naruto as Naruto gave a sheepish grin. It looks like he broke the minds of the unsuspecting guards with his being there. Luckily, someone else arrived in a swirl of sand to escort them into the village. Naruto. Naruto looked up, hearing his name to see someone familiar. Gaara, we got Hokage Dono's letter. The council is waiting for you, spoke Gaara, getting Naruto to nod. Sounds good. Also, there's something I want to speak with you about, said Naruto, beginning to follow after Gaara. Tayuya, Fu, and Jiraiya all followed after Naruto as he stopped Gaara from asking about it. We can save it for later. For now, let's go see this council first. Gaara nodded his head as the gate guards watched the five of them enter the village. They soon got out of eyesight as one of the guards swallowed the lump in his throat. It is really real. The Rinnegan, it's real, spoke one of the guards as the other one holding the bingo book opened it. I thought this was just a misunderstanding somehow, but, said the man looking at Naruto's entry. It was on the first page due to his godlike status now. If his Rinnegan is true, then that means we should take this information seriously. The man read what the latest bingo book had to say about Uzumaki Naruto. Name: Uzumaki Naruto, Nidaime Rikudo Sennin, second sage of 6 paths. Age: approximately 13. Gender: male. Origin: Konohagakure. Clan: Uzumaki. Affiliated with Konoha. Ninja rank: Chunin. Physical description: 5 feet 6 inches tall, 110 pounds. Golden blonde hair and 6 whisker mark-like scars, 3 on each cheek. Eyes are the fabled Rinnegan, characterized by a ripple pattern that spreads over the eyeball. Elemental affinity: wind, fire, water, earth, lightning, yin, yang, yin-yang. Rank: S. Special talents: possesses the Rinnegan and the ability to use the extraordinary powers of the Rikudo. Gravity manipulation, teleportation, and chakra absorption are the only ones confirmed. He possibly knows many more advanced abilities. Bounty: 100 million Ryo alive. Stationed by Anonymous. Stats: Ninjutsu, 5 taijutsu, 5 genjutsu, 4 intelligence, 4 strength, 5 speed, 5 stamina, 5 hand seals, 5 total, 38. Dude, 100 million Ryo? Yeah, but you gotta catch him alive. 38 is the highest stats I've ever seen. And he's still just a teenager. Catching Naruto alive or dead wasn't possible for 99% of the world. And that percentage was 100% considering only the 4 of them. They could feel it off the presence Naruto had. No one there could even fathom a way of defeating him, considering what they just read. At least I get to tell people I met a god today, spoke a gate guard, getting his comrades to agree. It wasn't every day you got to meet the second coming of the Sage of Six Paths. Especially considering the first was considered the peak of shinobi in power, and Naruto seemed to already be there at the age of 13. Their seeing him was something they'd be able to talk about for the rest of their lives. Later that day, it had been a long meeting with Suna's council. Most of it was spent with them kissing up to Naruto. The endless compliments, the gifts they'd gotten for him, and all of the other inane pleasantries that Naruto didn't much care for. The adulation was the part of the journey he'd hate. Konoha wasn't the only one who saw him as a god. And thus, everyone wanted to meet and try to appease God. Naruto didn't like being compared to God when he wasn't. He was just powerful. That shouldn't make him God. Godlike powers shouldn't make one a god, said Naruto, thinking aloud as he sat atop the roof of their hotel. A hotel that Sunagakure paid for entirely, and anything else Naruto or his contingent would need throughout their stay here. Part of their pleasantries. Having dog-like powers doesn't make Kiba a dog. He's still a human despite it. Why do you use that example, Naruto-sama? Questioned the person sitting atop the roof with Naruto. They were loudly slurping a bowl of ramen that they'd requested since Sunagakure was paying for it anyway. There were a dozen other examples you could have used. Why a dog? Well, Fu-chan, God spelled backward is dog, said Naruto with a shrug. He didn't think it was that deep, but Fu found everything interesting for the most part. It was just the first thing that came to mind. Ah, Fu nodded and continued to eat her ramen before posing a different question. Why did you come out to the top of the hotel? Remember the clone spam I did in Konoha to meet and greet the villagers? Questioned Naruto, getting a nod from Fu. So many Narutos doing so many things was fantastic to see. Fu enjoyed seeing it as Naruto smiled and pointed out to Suna. Well, I'm doing that here too. It's easier to manage all of them from a higher point, so here I am. Oh, that's cool. It makes sense too. Indeed, plus, I'm waiting for someone, and they can find me easier up here than holed up in my hotel room. Is the person you're meeting coming from the moon? Huh? Is the person you're meeting coming from the moon? Questioned Fu again, undeterred by Naruto's surprise at her question. The girl looked up to the moon that she could see during the current sunset before looking back at Naruto. You've been looking up at it since we started this trip. I just figured the person you were waiting for was someone from there. Hey, that's pretty ridiculous, don't you think? You think people live on the moon? I don't know. If anyone knew that, it'd probably be you. You do have the Sage of Six Paths memories. Did he ever see moon people? Hagoromo was a moon person. At least halfway. His dad was human, but his mom was an alien from some extraterrestrial place, said Naruto, getting Fu to raise both eyebrows. She didn't know she was kind of right. Some people lived outside the Earth? His mom was crazy though, so Hagoromo sealed her away and created the moon to contain her. Continued Naruto, pointing up to the astronomical body. Wait, the Sage of Six Paths sealed his mother into what everyone called the moon. How did that even work? And yeah, he saw moon people, but it's a long story. Fu looked at Naruto expectingly. She wanted to hear the story. Naruto could see that she did, but he just smiled at her and shook his head. We don't have the time right now, said Naruto as sand swirled before he and Fu. Naruto stood just as Gaara came out of his sandy shunshin. As I said, I'm meeting someone. Maybe later. Okay, I'll save you a bowl of ramen. Yes, you're amazing. Be back soon. Naruto walked to Gaara and stood before the Ichibi Jinchuriki. You mind if we go somewhere different for this? Just in case Shukaku-kun gets testy once again. Gaara nodded as Naruto grinned. I'm sure you can find where I go. Naruto teleported outside of Sunagakure and stood on nothing but sand. Only sand could be seen for a few hundred meters as Naruto nodded. He'd hoped Gaara could find him relatively soon. Now that he thought about it, why didn't I just teleport him with me? thought Naruto with a shake of his head. Sometimes he just didn't think. Granted, he probably couldn't touch Gaara because the boy's sand would stop him. Gaara's sand wouldn't have let me touch him to teleport him away. That's my reason, and I'm sticking to it. Naruto frowned, feeling how slow it was taking Gaara to get here. Well, it's my fault. This is why my intelligence isn't a 5 in the bingo book. Naruto cried crocodile tears as he waited the extra 5 or so seconds for Gaara to arrive. He had a Biju to speak to. Sunagakure Hotel. Humming a tune to herself, Fu was steady in the kitchen making another bowl of ramen. After her 13th one, she'd lost count as she kept getting them since Suna was offering. While making the delicious sustenance, a loud bang attracted her attention. In ninja mode immediately, Fu rounded the corner, ready for anything only to see no danger. It was merely a conglomerate of items held within the hands of someone she knew. Tayuya-tan? Yeah, it's me, Fu. I couldn't reach my room key, so I just kicked the door open, said Tayuya, muffled by the items in her hands. She knew her way around the room as she walked them over to the living room couch. After neatly depositing them, Tayuya grinned toothily at her haul. I think it's stupid that Suna is kissing Hige's ass so much. He's not a god, said Tayuya shaking her head. Fu agreed with the sentiment as Tayuya then shrugged. But if he's not going to abuse it, I will for him. Free shit is free. And also awesome, but more importantly, free. What did you buy? Questioned a very curious Fu looking over the redhead's shoulder to see her new things. I didn't buy anything. Suna bought it. Okay, what did Suna buy for you? Well, they bought wait, where the fuck is Hige? Questioned Tayuya realizing they were missing one. Naruto-sama? He left a little while before you got here, said Fu finding no reason not to share this information. Where did he go? I don't know. When did he say he would be back? Soon. Soon? What the fuck does soon mean? Questioned Tayuya angrily. While Suna had bought these things, Tayuya also had gotten something for Naruto. She'd wanted to show him, but he wasn't there to see it. I should go find him. I want him to see what I got, thought Tayuya before perking up. She'd had a thought that may have changed her life. There's no way it's possible. Tayuya's earrings glowed their vibrant pink as a moment later, Naruto appeared. Huh, what's going on? How did I? Started and stopped Naruto confusedly, wondering what had just happened to him. He looked down to see Tayuya directly in front of him and put 2 and 2 together. Tayuya-chan, did you summon me? Oh wow, it worked, said Tayuya turning to the taller boy and holding his gaze. Naruto raised an eyebrow as Tayuya frowned at his face. Why aren't you excited? I'm excited. I just found out I could annoy you just as much as you annoy me. Well, you summoned me. I figured you needed my help or something. Not just because you wanted to annoy me, said Naruto, casually getting Tayuya to deflate. And he ruins it again. He's good at taking the air out of things, thought Tayuya with a shake of her head. Then she realized something. Wait, why are you so calm? What do you mean? Quote. Tayuya sharpened her gaze and stared at him for a while. She narrowed her brown eyes further before growling. You're a fucking clone, aren't you? Yes, I was the closest Naruto. What do you need? I'd like to get back to what I was doing, said the clone getting Tayuya to deflate further. I don't need anything really, just wanted to. Never mind, said Tayuya as the clone Naruto frowned. Never mind? Yeah, I'll just wait for the real you to show back up. You sure? It might take a while. He's talking to the Ichibi. Yes, it's no problem. Tell Hige I'll see him when he gets back, said Tayuya as the clone took a moment before responding. I see you now but, okay. Tayuya blinked, realizing a clone of Naruto was technically Naruto as well. He could speak freely through them. She wanted to take back what she said once she remembered it, but it was too late. The clone was already looking at Fu. Now, I noticed when I arrived but, I thought she needed me. Is that ramen I smell, Fu-chan? My ramen, shouted Fu darting back to the kitchen. Several seconds went by before she spoke again. Thanks, Naruto-sama. I got here just in time. Not a problem, said the Naruto clone before turning back to Tayuya. He saw her look and couldn't help but ask. You okay? Tayuya blinked and looked to see Naruto staring at her again. She'd been lost in her thoughts as she simply shook her head. Yes, I'm okay. And sorry again, I didn't mean to summon you for nothing. I'm sorry that I'm a clone. You seemed like you were excited, said Naruto smiling at the redhead. Red tinted Tayuya's cheeks when Naruto reached up to touch her earrings. Goosebumps formed at his following lines. Never hesitate to summon me. I gave those to you so you could summon your Doki, yes. But you can summon me anytime for anything, okay? Tayuya could only nod her head dumbly as Naruto nodded back. He retracted his hand before punching into his palm. And since I'm no longer needed, I shall be leaving now to do clone things. Original me needs to focus. What is Naruto-sama doing? The clone just smiled again. He'll tell you when he returns, said the clone turning to Fu. She'd come around the corner with a bowl of ramen as Naruto snapped his fingers. And yes, he will still tell you the moon story too. Only if that's not my ramen you're eating, is it? Of course not. This is a chicken one. Miso pork is waiting for you when you get back, exclaimed Fu, knowing Naruto's favorite. Fu-chan, you're amazing. Original said it before, and he's saying it now. See you both later. The clone disappeared in a poof, leaving Fu and Tayuya alone. Tayuya wanted to rip her hair out as she couldn't say what she wanted to. Fu made it all look so easy, but Tayuya couldn't do the same. It was annoying her to no end. Why am I like this around him now? Thought Tayuya, wanting to go crazy. Every other thought she had was Naruto. And it annoyed her to no end. Am I under a genjutsu? Does he have a voodoo doll or something? Why can't I? So, what did Suna buy you, Tayuya-tan? Questioned Fu, snapping Tayuya out of her thoughts. Quote. Tayuya stared at Fu to see the girl curiously looking at her haul. Tayuya couldn't help but smile. Fu would probably keep her mind off Naruto. Right, let me show you. I got a whole bunch of cool things. Even something for you. For me. Show it to me first. Fu bounced on her toes excitedly as Tayuya mentally thanked her. As Hige said, "You're amazing, Fu." The Nanabi Jinchuriki smiled at the compliment. Tayuya had a thought in her head. I'll tell him tonight, I promise. Tayuya hoped she'd be able to as she gave Fu the rundown on her newest items. Outskirts of Suna. Everything fine? Yes, sorry. One of my companions needed me for a moment, said Naruto, standing in Gaara's mindscape with the red-haired Jinchuriki. Naruto randomly stopped and remained still for a few minutes, getting Gaara to grow curious. Just a little thing with my team. It's fine now. I sure hope it had nothing to do with Suna? I'll be sure to handle it if. No, not at all, cut off Naruto before the two of them reached their destination. The giant sand tanuki, Shukaku, sat before them, stomping about Gaara's mindscape. And there he is. Hello, Shukaku-kun. The Biju blanched, hearing its name, and turned to see Gaara and Naruto. The tanuki didn't pay much mind to the former, but the latter got a reaction from the beast. No, get away from me, you weird, wannabe Gigi. Stay back, I come meaning no harm, said Naruto, reflecting a wave of sand from the Biju. Naruto's hands were up with his palms facing the Biju to show his following statement's validity physically. I'm not here to fight. I only want to speak with you. Nope, get away from me, shouted Shukaku, charging up a dark sphere of chakra. Bijudama, tailed beast ball. Fujutsu Kyuin, blocking technique absorption seal. Shukaku, seriously, I'm not here to fight, said Naruto, absorbing the very dangerous attack without moving. Shukaku began to panic more as Naruto reiterated his earlier statement. Look, I'm not doing anything this time. Seriously, I only want to talk. I don't believe you. You turned me to glass last time. You were trying to destroy my home. Yeah, so? You're not doing that now. I have no reason to fight you. I'm only here to talk. Just talk? Talk about what? How you're a cheap copy of the man who made me? Questioned Shukaku with a deep belly laugh. Shukaku laughed for several seconds until it saw that Naruto and Gaara were both not laughing. I thought it was funny. You're both human, so you probably can't relate. Bet Kurama would have found it funny. I didn't. It was pretty lame. Shukaku blinked before turning to see his brother, the Kyuubi, also in Gaara's mindscape. What the hell are you doing here, Teme? I don't know. The kid made me come. I guess to tell you to hear him out. Hear him out? Huh? Questioned Shukaku, getting a nod from Kurama. Shukaku looked back at Naruto before shrugging. Okay, fine. What you got to say, Fojiji? Thank you, Kurama-kun, said Naruto, getting a snort from the fox. Naruto coughed in his hand before beginning his monologue. Well, I came all this way to tell you I plan. Got you. shouted Shukaku as Naruto and Gaara were swallowed up by an enormous wave of sand. The sand shifted to form a massive pyramid with seals spreading across it. The seals locked in place as Shukaku grinned. How's that? No one escapes my Sabaku Soteso Fuin, desert-layered imperial funeral seal. You're an idiot, said Kurama, getting Shukaku to snarl. And how do you figure? Because the kid's patience is wearing thin. The wave of sand, 1. Bijudama, 2. And this pyramid is strike 3. You're out. The pyramid exploded, sending sand everywhere across Gaara's mindscape. Kurama felt the breadth of Naruto's chakra and bristled at its potency. Even if he is this cheap copy of Gigi you say he is, he's still leagues above you in power. Shukaku-kun, now, I'm not one to get angry, spoke Naruto, rising from the destroyed pyramid. Surrounding him was a massive humanoid construct made of sparkly, white chakra. Gaara sat with Naruto inside the body of the chakra construct and could see Naruto smiling with his eyes closed. I'm not here to fight. But I will fight you to ensure you listen to what I have to say. I think you'll like it. Shukaku sat frozen, looking at the massive humanoid being Naruto created. It was easily as big as the Biju, and its power was growing the more time passed with it stabilizing into a proper form. Shukaku looked down at Naruto's smile and swallowed the lump in its throat. Shukaku merely nodded as Naruto opened his eyes happily. Great then, let me tell you about my plan. Hope you're paying attention also, Gaara. Gaara nodded as Naruto clapped his hands together. The cheap copy of Hagoromo gave Shukaku and Gaara his plans for the Jinchuriki and Biju just like he'd given to Kurama. By the end of it, Shukaku would realize it kind of liked Naruto a little bit. And Gaara was somewhat pleased as well of what the future untold. Gaara and Shukaku were both down with separating the moment Naruto could accomplish it. Well, he could do it now, but Gaara would die. And Gaara didn't too much like that outcome. So they would wait until Naruto got what he needed. Hopefully, it wouldn't be long. The next day, another meeting with Suna's council. Another day of getting his ass kissed over and over. Seriously, Naruto was losing his sanity. Especially since Jiraiya and Tayuya enjoyed abusing his title. I mean, can't you accommodate the Nidaime Rikudo Sennin to the best luxury hotel suites you own for his last night here? Tayuya didn't miss a beat following after Jiraiya. Naruto-sama does love food. You say you can have top chefs on standby all day and night? Jiraiya was right behind Tayuya with another. An all-inclusive day at your finest spa is the least you can do for Naruto-sama's help, wouldn't you agree? Naruto's eye twitched hearing Tayuya and Jiraiya exchange requests. Naruto didn't care about any of these things. Well, maybe the food. The other stuff Naruto did not care for. And he let that be known. I believe what they've done is already enough. Don't you agree, Tayuya-chan and Jiraiya-sensei? Questioned Naruto, adding killing intent to his question. Jiraiya and Tayuya both gave stiff nods and didn't speak another word. Thank you for your hospitality. We'll be leaving tomorrow morning. It is no problem, Naruto-sama. We are honored to have been your first destination, spoke an elderly woman in Suna's council. Thank you for all your help. The villagers couldn't believe there were so many of you roaming around yesterday to get a hold of. It was magnificent to see the things they could do. Hey, gotta love clones. I'll do it again today. If that is all you had? Questioned Naruto, getting a nod. A bunch of shaking hands later, Naruto and his crew exited the building. Finally, my legs were going stiff. Mine too. Plus, it was stuffy as hell in that little ass room, said Tayuya, happy to breathe fresh air again. Yeah, it was, said Naruto before creating a few dozen clones. The clones spread as Naruto waved to his people. I got somewhere to be. Don't get into any trouble while I'm gone. Naruto got waves back before he teleported outside of Suna's walls again. He was in the same location as he was last night with Gaara. It's just, instead of Gaara being here, the man with the same eyes as he stood just outside the walls of the village. Good morning, Kyubi. Good morning, Pain. I see you found me, said Naruto, speaking to the leader of Akatsuki. He stood with the 5 other paths behind him as Naruto knew what was about to happen. I'm guessing this isn't a social visit? You guessed correctly. Figured. Well, let's get on with it then. Pain nodded before the 6 of them rushed the Kyubi Jinchuriki. Rinnegan versus Rinnegan, the fight was on. Sunagakure Hotel. Tayuya was in a good mood. I feel fucking great. Correction. Tayuya was in a great mood. The mouthy redhead had returned to the hotel room and taken the best shower of her life. Hige's shower is so much better than mine. His room is so much better than all of ours too. And Tayuya wasn't wrong. Given a suite for his stay, Naruto's suite held 4 rooms within it. One for each of his travel companions, though Jiraiya refused his room. He wouldn't be caught with 3 underage people in a hotel room and was given a separate room. But within Naruto's suite, his room was the master bedroom. It was bigger than his apartment easily, and that was his room. And Tayuya took full advantage of his not being here by using his room's amenities. She even began to rummage through his stuff. I left my clothes in my room. I know you have a shirt or something in here, said Tayuya, shifting through Naruto's clothing to find something suitable to wear. She could easily walk out in the open in her towel, but part of her wanted a piece of Naruto's clothes. It was the reason she'd left her clothes in the first place. Wait, no way. Is this silk? It's so soft. Tayuya pulled out one of Naruto's long-sleeved shirts. She marveled at its texture before she dropped her towel. She threw the shirt on before shuddering. Hige wears stuff like this all the time? I can't believe I never noticed, thought Tayuya as the shirt reached her upper thighs. Tayuya turned to the mirror in Naruto's room and smiled. I make Hige's clothes look good. He might be right. Orange is a nice color. Tayuya shook her head before deciding to put Naruto's shirt back. The moment she went to remove the shirt, she felt a tingle. She was gone in a poof of smoke. Naruto vs. Pain, earlier. The Rinnegan was incredible. Naruto's battle with the 6 paths of pain was poetry in motion. Jutsu after jutsu was being met with counter after counter. Naruto's repertoire was much more versatile, but it didn't matter against the paths. Kaden. Karyudan, Fire Style. Flame Dragon Bullet, said Naruto, launching a blast of red-hot fire from his mouth. The jutsu he pilfered from Hiruzen did nothing as the chubby path stepped in front. The path absorbed the jutsu as Naruto let out a sigh. Okay, let's run through this again. That's the Preta path. Kachiyose. There was the animal path, a slender and long-haired man, summoning a giant rhinoceros. Iso, majestic attire, said Naruto as an ethereal white chakra spawned around him. A giant fist grew from the chakra and knocked out the charging rhino before a sword grew in its hand. The hand gave a quick slash as the bald Pain managed to grab the blade and keep it from doing any harm. There's the Asura path, the most dangerous of the 6. Well, at least to me, thought Naruto before his white chakra dissipated. Naruto put up a palm before bringing all 6 paths in collectively. Demetsu, guiding destruction. Bansho Tenen, heavenly pull. Naruto was pulled equally as strong by one of the paths simultaneously as his pull. It caused Naruto to miss his timing on attacking as he flew by all of the paths while they flew past him. Naruto remembered who the Diva path was as it was the original Pain he met. The second of the long-haired Pains was the human path. Naruto was quickly reminded as it was the first to recover and came rushing in an attempt to touch him. Okay, and the fat spiky-haired one is Naraka. Right, I have it internalized. It should be simple to finish, thought Naruto, ducking several strikes from the human path. Another Bansho Tenen nearly grabbed Naruto, but he deflected it with his control over gravity. The gravity pull did pause him long enough for the human path. Alright, this is annoying. And I win, said the Diva path as the human path put a palm to Naruto's forehead. The Diva path's eyes widened when the path didn't rip Naruto's soul from his body. What happened? Wait, my connection is. It looks like I am stronger than you. That's good news. Not like you could pull my soul out anyway, said Naruto, having ejected a black rod from his sleeve. The rod was stabbed into the human path, giving Naruto control. The path turned toward its brethren at Naruto's command, getting him to smirk. At least at this range, my chakra receiver is better than all of yours. Thanks for the set of eyes. Pain frowned internally, having lost connection with one of his paths. Naruto had taken his path from him, and the path gave Naruto a second pair of eyes to view the battlefield with. His blind spots were now covered, meaning Pain couldn't activate another jutsu without Naruto seeing it first. This boy is dangerous. It may have been a mistake to come here, thought Pain, dodging Naruto's buzzsaw-like offensive. A literal buzzsaw, as he'd utilized Shirato to turn his body into a deadly quartet of saws. But, he'll be even more dangerous with time. I have to defeat him now. Bansho Tenin. Another attempt to reel Naruto in was deflected once more. The deflection was smoother as the Jinchuriki barely even stopped moving. Pain was getting frustrated as the animal path stepped up. Kachiyose. Rhino and now a two-headed dog. Nice summons, said Naruto, repelling the charging summon with his gravity blast. All that did was cause it to grow a third head and come charging again. Naruto reverted to normal as he nodded his head. I like this one. Geto. Yomi, outer path. World of darkness. The charging dog was unprepared for the King of Hell to spring from the ground in front of it. The King of Hell's mouth opened considerably as it swallowed the summon whole. The King of Hell sunk into the ground as Pain's Diva Path held up a palm. Shinra Tensai. Naruto readied to deflect, but Pain missed him entirely. It was then Naruto realized Pain wasn't aiming for him. Pain tagged the motionless human path, getting it to tumble across the ground. Naruto's chakra receiver rod fell out because the blow made him lose control of the path. Naruto frowned before letting out a sigh. He was growing bored with this. Naruto wouldn't run out before Pain if it were a battle of stamina. There was just no way it could ever happen. And considering Naruto kept getting his jutsus countered and absorbed, Pain wouldn't run out either. Naruto could potentially fatally damage Pain's paths with taijutsu, but Pain's coordination was very impressive. And then a light bulb went off in Naruto's head. This is over. Shikushodo, said Naruto as a poof of smoke appeared beside him. Naruto looked at who he summoned before blanching. Tayuya-chan? Hey, Hige. I didn't think you'd summon me. If you're wondering why. Later, for now, can I get your help? Questioned Naruto, grabbing the girl and placing her on his back. Wait, you want my help? Questioned Tayuya in shock as Naruto nodded his head. Tayuya blushed at the position of Naruto's hands. Oh, this isn't good. Tayuya-chan? Are you not wearing? Tayuya cut him off with a very red face. What do you need my help with? Got your flute? Always. Tayuya pulled her flute out from seemingly nowhere. I'll ask later where you grabbed that from, but for now, play a tune. Something immobilizing. Tayuya wouldn't be able to keep herself upright or defend against Pain while casting her genjutsu. This was why Naruto was holding her like so. She'd thought he was trying to cop a feel, and Tayuya would have beaten his head in if that were the case. Tayuya brought the flute to her mouth as Naruto made them vanish from view. Pain had been worried about the new addition for a moment until he realized the girl was irrelevant. She wasn't nearly strong enough to do anything to him or his paths. The moment he planned to start his attack again, Naruto disappeared from view. Losing sight of him and the girl was worrisome, but Pain could feel he was still in the area. They looked around but couldn't find hide or hair of him. The returned human path settled back next to its brethren to completely view the area. However, Naruto and the girl were gone entirely. Their chakra signatures were still in the area, which confused Pain. Where did he go? Questioned Pain in his head, not noticing the shadow growing behind him. The shadow was a speck but grew larger and larger by the second. Pain heard a melody as he immediately recognized it as a genjutsu. It was a strong genjutsu, but the paths could shrug it off without effort. Then, Pain realized where Naruto was as all six of them looked up. Naruto and Tayuya were above them and were plummeting toward all six paths of Pain. The tune was getting louder and louder as the Diva Path rose a palm. The Jinchuriki would deflect the gravity wave, but it would make Naruto an easy target frozen in the air. The Asura Path got ready as the Diva Path channeled its chakra. Too bad Naruto vanished again. A Shunkin Ito put Naruto and Tayuya amid the six paths. Tayuya was steadily playing her flute as her genjutsu reached its maximum effect. Sadly, the genjutsu wasn't strong enough to stop the paths, who all turned to attack. Tenchi Kiyome, Heaven and Earth Resonance. Tayuya's eyes snapped open, feeling her chakra connect with Naruto's. She almost stopped playing her flute because of the jolt it sent through her body. Hige, thought Tayuya, feeling the breadth of Naruto's chakra. It was coursing through her body and amped her genjutsu's effect. I have complete control over the other Rinnegan dudes. It feels absolute. There's no struggle for power or anything. Is it because of Hige's chakra or because I? Great job, Tayuya-chan. Naruto's exclamation got Tayuya to blink. The girl completed her technique as she brought her flute down. Naruto's chakra was still connected to her as she could only say one thing. Hige, have I told you you're scary? Yes, you have. Though I think it was terrifying. Okay, just making sure. Because you're fucking terrifying. Thank you. You're also wearing my shirt. Tayuya had forgotten about that as Naruto looked at her expectingly. She could only smile as she knew she wasn't getting out of it this time. Why was there so much chakra? Could you always connect our chakras? What was the technique called? Because I'm awesome. Yes, even remotely since I gave you those earrings. And I said what it was when I did it. Naruto answered the questions while moving toward the motionless paths of pain. Tayuya growled at the simple answers as she watched Naruto begin removing the black rods from the paths of pain. Before you ask if I don't remove these rods, then when your genjutsu ends, they'll be controllable by the original pain. All of what we did will be for naught. I wasn't going to ask that. I asked what the name of the chakra connecting technique was. You can't use it. What does it matter? Tell me or, started Tayuya holding her flute threateningly. Naruto removed all the essential chakra receivers from a second pain before turning his head to Tayuya. Tayuya lowered her flute slowly before breathing out calmly. Please tell me. Well, someone is calmer. And you've been cussing a lot less lately and being nice. Ever since last night, said Naruto watching the girl's cheeks turn rosy. Naruto smiled at her cheekily. Don't tell me the Tsunere thing is oi. That thing hurts if you hit me. Tayuya had taken a swipe at Naruto for what he was about to say. She missed on purpose as a smirk formed on her face. Naruto couldn't help but smile wider and oblige her request. Tenchi Kiyome. I can augment someone's techniques by connecting my chakra to theirs. Wow, so this is how your chakra feels? No, that's simply all I could put through your chakra coils at one time. What, you have even more? Questioned Tayuya as Naruto nodded and moved on to a third path. Tayuya was still searching for the end of the chakra flowing through her now. And he was saying he had more? You are a god. I mean, you're human, but do you even know how glad I am too? The musician couldn't finish her thought. She simply held her flute in one hand before encircling her arms around Naruto's neck. He was no longer supporting her, so it was necessary to stay attached to his back. Otherwise, she'd be testing the limits of her core stamina. Naruto said nothing about her actions. There was no need to. The Jinchuriki moved rather quickly in removing all the rods before ending his connection to Tayuya. The girl frowned immediately. You could have let me keep the chakra. I could probably take you out with it. You think you could ever take me out? Yes, ask me what's under your shirt. Stammered Naruto as Tayuya grinned. Naruto stood with the girl piggybacking him. No time. We have a bad guy to confront. Are you scared? You might like what you see. I am a growing boy. I know I'll like what I see. But we have to catch the bad guy before he leaves. What? Boo. I don't care about bad guys anymore. You make them boring, opposed Tayuya blowing a raspberry. You've known that about me from the start, yet you've stuck around with your favorite maelstrom. You're not my favorite anything, fish cake. And what else was I supposed to do? You're you. I am me indeed. Tayuya blew continuous raspberries at his arrogance. You know you like it. I don't like you. Yeah, don't like me but wants me to see what's under my shirt. Tayuya grew a Chesser grin as Naruto shook his head. Let's go confront a bad guy first, and maybe I might, said Naruto getting Tayuya to nod to that plan. Alrighty, Shunken Ito. Naruto and Tayuya vanished from the area. Sunagakure. You're still here. Hey Fu. Shouted Jiraiya popping a squat next to a seated Fu. The girl waved in greeting with a smile before turning back forward. Still out here sparring with Gaara? Yep, he's a very good training partner. His sand is so tough to get through. Good, but does that mean he beat you? Nope, not one. But I haven't won either. They've all been ties, said Fu enjoying her momentary break. Gaara stood off to the side, resting as well. We spar in 10-minute sessions, then take a break before going again. The score is currently 0-0-8. Wow, y'all have fought that many times with no victor? Fu nodded as Jiraiya whistled. Man. Well, having fun at least? Yes, Gaara-san is a great conversationalist too. Jiraiya perked up hearing such a thing. Gaara says nothing, ever. At least from what Naruto said and what I've seen. Thought Jiraiya looked over at the redhead. The only time Gaara spoke was primarily out of necessity or asked a question. Oh, right, forgot Fu always asks questions. Gaara must be patient as hell to answer every one of them. Did you need anything, Jiraiya-sama? Questioned Fu as Jiraiya shook his head. No, I just wanted to check in with all of you. Let you know when we're leaving, said Jiraiya as Fu looked at him expectantly. Oh, yeah, we leave tomorrow at dawn. We have a long journey to the land of Earth where we begin the majority of our village stops. Fu nodded her head as Jiraiya frowned. I hate repeating myself. I was trying to find all three of you collectively, but the original Naruto and his girlfriend aren't anywhere to be seen. Tayuya Tan isn't Naruto-sama's girlfriend. Peeved, could have fooled me. She does seem very close to him. However, I don't think they're dating. Jiraiya shrugged. And no worries, I can help with getting Naruto-sama's attention. A second went by before Naruto appeared in the area. Fu looked at him as he turned to her. Hi Clone-sama. Jiraiya-sama wanted to let you and Tayuya Tan know we are leaving tomorrow at dawn. Cool, Tayuya-chan is with original me, and he'll relay the message. Thanks, catch you later. The clone vanished as Jiraiya looked perplexed at what had just happened. Okay, how did you call the Gaki? That was like a split second, and then he was here. Biju telepathy. What? Biju telepathy, repeated Fu, getting Jiraiya to raise an eyebrow. Seeing his confusion, Fu explained. Naruto-sama once showed me a plane only accessible by the Biju. I've wanted to go back for a while because it was peaceful. And it's easier to communicate with Naruto-sama there because I can always reach him. Fu then turned to show Jiraiya her exposed midriff. Jiraiya spotted the Magatama piercing on her belly button, made of the same material as Tayuya's earrings. Unlike Tayuya's, Fu's seemed to shine a dark green when the light hit it just right. So, Naruto-sama gave me this gift earlier today. I can access the plane with it using Naruto-sama's Gakido. I can remotely steal his chakra, not enough to use but enough to enter the Biju plane by myself. Wow, the kid made that? When? The morning after he told us the origin story. You were there, still in his room when he walked out with it. How did you miss it? Questioned Fu as Jiraiya shrugged. Guess that dummy is pretty lifelike. Thought Jiraiya before realizing something. I don't look anything like that, do I? Does Pinky have merit with the dumbass comment, huh? Fu was oblivious to Jiraiya's inner monologue as she looked down at the piercing. I like it. I wasn't sure at first but, it's cute, right? I'm not one for commenting on underage girls' appearances, but, yes, it looks cute. Nice of the kid to do that, said Jiraiya before turning to Gaara. It seemed time to spar again as Jiraiya took this as his cue to leave. Alright. Well, I'm off to do Jiraiya things again. I will be by in the morning to make sure you all are up. Be sure to get some rest. Gotcha, Jiraiya-sama, see you then. That you will, Toodles. Jiraiya disappeared as Fu heard Gaara speak. Ready when you are, Fu-san. Bring it on Gaara-san. Earlier, outskirts of Sunagakure. That boy defeated the six paths. Silence followed the line. The emaciated Rinnegan wielder couldn't believe it was that easy for him. Sound-based genjutsu was one of the pain's worst and only counters. And while the man knew this, he had no clue Naruto could use one on such a scale. I shouldn't have sent all six at once. But my respect for the boy was too high. The six paths lost? The man's nod got his blue-haired companion to panic. She couldn't believe it. How? How could he? We have to leave. We have to leave right. We won't make it, Conan. He knows my location already from his removal of my chakra receivers, said the original Pain waiting a few minutes. They could have run but he knew Naruto would catch them. Naruto wouldn't have taken his time like he was if he didn't think he could. He's here. Naruto arrived with Tayuya in an instant. Tayuya was the first to speak. Ew, is he middle-aged or overaged? His face is like 40, but his body looks 134 years old. How is that possible? He synced with something he shouldn't have. It drained his life energy because those eyes aren't organically his, said Naruto looking at the seventh path of pain, the original body. Something I'll be taking back before ending his life. Wait, please don't. Naruto's stare froze the woman's speech. I warned him of what I'd do if he went after another Biju. Why shouldn't I kill him now? The tomo of Naruto's Rinnegan spun before Tayuya gasped. Hige, look out, shouted Tayuya, watching the rod jut out from the man's machine. If your human path couldn't rip my soul out, said Naruto grabbing the surprise projectile before snapping it in half. Naruto turned his glare back to the original Pain before teleporting in front of him. What makes you think the rod could do anything? No, shouted Conan, watching Naruto place a hand to the man's chest. Naruto pulled his hand back before his eyes went wide. Pain closed his eyes as he felt Naruto grab his soul. There was nothing he could do, so he merely accepted his fate. "No, there's no way," said Naruto lowly, having gotten all of Nagato's memories. The man's soul was visible in Naruto's palm as he couldn't believe what he had just seen. "Uzumaki Nagato. You and Conan are disciples of Jiraiya-sensei." "They are what? Did you just say students of dumbass?" "Disciples of Jiraiya-sensei, but, yes. And the third student was the diva path, Yahiko." "Why did you stop?" questioned Nagato, opening his eyes in confusion. He ignored his soul, sitting halfway out of his body, to look at Naruto. "I thought you said I was dead if I ever tried to take another Biju?" "You technically are because, well, I got your soul in my hand. But I no longer think it's necessary to kill you." Nagato and Conan perked up hearing that as Naruto smiled. "I have a better way to reach your goal of peace for the world." "A better way? Of course, I am a student of Jiraiya-sensei like you, Nagato-senpai, and Conan-senpai. All pupils of the man with the coolest dream of world peace ever," said Naruto before adding some of Hiruzen's memories to the mix. The man had read Jiraiya's first book, which had a footnote about the person Naruto was staring at. "I'm named after the main character in a book you inspired. You remember, don't you?" Nagato's eyes widened. He did remember. The Tales of the Gutsy Ninja. A story where the main character never gave up trying to attain Jiraiya's idealistic world peace dream. Nagato looked down to see Naruto putting his soul back with his palm returning to the Akatsuki leader's chest. Nagato got a quick rush of Naruto's memories as his eyes widened. "I will have the ability in a few years. You know I will. All I ask is you give me time. My actions will speak for themselves," said Naruto as Nagato exhaled a sharp breath. Naruto restored his body to normal as he looked healthy and fit once again. "Consider this a step in breaking the cycle." "Oh, and I'm sorry but, I need this." Nagato grunted in pain as Naruto disrupted his connection with the Gedo Mazo. Naruto nodded before building his chakra and taking a step back. "Kachiyose. Gedo Mazo." Beside Naruto, the ground opened up to reveal a colossal head. The head was attached to a humanoid being that was massive. It came roaring out of the ground before being sucked into Naruto. An entire body flew out the opening and into the Jinchuriki, who bristled at the ceiling. Naruto's blonde hair whitened entirely for a few seconds before returning to normal. Tayuya, still piggybacking Naruto, couldn't believe what she was feeling from Naruto as her earrings glowed bright pink. They were vibrating as she gawked at Naruto's chakra skyrocketing. He wasn't using Tenchi Kiyome to connect their chakra, but Tayuya's earrings gave her all she needed to know. And what she knew was that Naruto's chakra was many times stronger than what she felt earlier. Hot damn, that's a lot of energy. Naruto shook from a full-body shiver before a small smile grew on his face. The boy's chakra. He absorbed the Gedo Mazo. Thought Nagato, marveling at the energy he could feel from Naruto. "It's so massive I can almost not distinguish it from the planet." "Hige." "Yes, Tayuya-chan?" Naruto turned his head to see Tayuya holding his gaze. "You're a god. No more will I deny it." She can feel it. Her earrings are glowing in response to the Gedo Mazo's energy. Thought Naruto, seeing the shimmering pink earrings within Tayuya's hair. Naruto nodded to her statement before holding a hand to his gut. "Not a god, but thanks for the compliment, I guess. Now, time to make good on my word." Naruto blinked before being dragged into his mindscape. There he saw a blonde-haired man and a red-haired woman waiting for him. "Hey, Tu-chan. Hey Ka-chan." The two waved to him as Naruto smiled. Before they could speak, Naruto twisted his hand in the real world, which opened his seal. His mom and dad's eyes widened as they turned to see the bars holding the Kyuubi unlocked before bursting open. "Give me a second, Mom and Pops, be back soon," said Naruto before his dad stopped him by speaking. We don't have a lot of time. I know, you're just leftover chakra that'll run out and disappear forever. No worries, I can sustain you both for a little while." His dad's eyes widened hearing that. Having seen Naruto's life up to this point, especially since his Rinnegan awakening, the man had no reason not to believe him. Naruto pointed to the arriving Kurama as he smiled. "Kind of made this guy a promise. Want to do it before I get all teary-eyed talking to my parents." Naruto returned to the real world after speaking with his parents briefly. He saw everyone looking at him, considering he'd stopped for a few seconds. Naruto nodded before his chakra amped up. Right then, Shunken Ito. Naruto teleported before grinning wide. Oh man, this feels like Hagoromo again. The only difference, I'm a shinobi. Tayuya was attached to Naruto's back, so she warped with him. Nagato and Konan weren't touching Naruto but warped with him in his teleportation. The two Akatsuki members had never been subject to one and could see a phantasm of their travel to the middle of Suna's desert. What? How? Questioned Konan, wondering why it felt like they slowly arrived here when they already were there. She saw a machine-free Nagato standing beside her and wondering the same. That felt instantaneous, but I could see us traveling here. You were already here. Your brain processes it slower to not overload your senses, said Tayuya before perking up. She didn't realize the other two also came with Naruto. Hige, how did you teleport them? I thought you had to touch us to do so? Nagato smiled, knowing the answer to Tayuya's question. He can expand his chakra to encompass an area. This allows him to teleport the people or things within. Impressive. Got it in one, Nagato-senpai. The Gedo Mazo, even hollow, contains more power and life energy than any of the Biju. And I can use it to amp anything I do, said Naruto before slamming a palm to the ground. An orange cloak of chakra surrounded Naruto before a summoning array appeared beneath his hand. The orange chakra seeped into it before the sealing array vanished. Promise kept, Kurama. Hope you like your new home. Stop, you're doing things and not explaining. How powerful did you get to make my earrings lose their shit like that? Questioned Tayuya, tugging Naruto's cheek. She was confused at his fast-paced actions. Why were you glowing orange with those black marks? And what was that summoning array you threw it into? Tayuya-chan, I'll explain later. Right now, I have things I must do before I forget. Just remind me, and I'll tell you whatever you want to know. Tayuya begrudgingly accepted that. When Naruto had his mind convinced, one couldn't change it no matter what. Naruto smiled, seeing her oblige him as he turned to Nagato and Konan. How about a reunion? Another warp put the four of them in a new area of Suna. Nagato and Konan looked around to see the Ichibi Jinchuriki battling against the Nanabi Jinchuriki. The two sparring Jinchuriki both stopped as one of them gave a cheerful greeting. Hi Naruto-sama, Tayuya-tan, half-naked Rinnegan guy, and Akatsuki lady, said Fu with a smile and waved to them all. Naruto and Tayuya smiled and waved back as Fu pointed to Nagato and Konan. Why are you with Akatsuki, Naruto-sama? There's no need to be afraid, Fu. Tayuya climbed off Naruto's back as Fu shook her head. I'm not afraid. You're here. Fu would have been scared seeing Akatsuki if she was alone like the first time she met them. She wasn't this time, and better yet, it was Naruto with whom she was with. Hi Tayuya-tan, why are you half naked? Oh, you know, Hige summoned me while I was getting dressed. And you're wearing his shirt? Questioned Fu, getting Tayuya to blush. Before Tayuya could answer, Fu remembered what she felt earlier during her spar. Tayuya was forgotten as she turned excitedly to Naruto. Your chakra, Naruto-sama, I felt it all just earlier. It made my Magatama glow and shake uncontrollably. What happened? Absorbed the husk of the 10 tails. A cute tilt of the head showed Fu's curiousness. Husk of the 10 tails? There's a 10th Biju? I'll tell you later. For now, Gaara, shouted Naruto, getting the redhead to turn to him. I can do that thing we spoke of last night now. You cool to handle it right away? Questioned Naruto, getting the boy's eyes to widen. Gaara simply nodded as Naruto smiled. Good, me, you, and Fu are about to handle that. Alright, reunion time. Shunken Ito. Naruto vanished from view. A second went by before he reappeared. Only, he was accompanied by a confused Jiraiya. What in the— Oh, Gaki, said Jiraiya, noticing Naruto before seeing Fu and Gaara. Naruto brought him back? Why'd you bring me back to his pinky wearing your shirt? Tayuya's face went completely red as Jiraiya grinned. Before he could begin his teasing, the final two in the area got his attention. Jiraiya looked over, and his heart nearly dropped. Nagato? Konan? It can't be. Hello again, Jiraiya-sensei, said Nagato as Konan gave a small wave. You're both still alive? I heard you all died, said Jiraiya, forgetting everything as the two before him held precedence. It's a long story, but we are. Konan and I are the only ones left. Yahiko is dead. Naruto got Gaara and Fu's attention. We're leaving. Naruto vanished with Fu and Gaara as Jiraiya looked at his students. Damn it, Hige just left me. Thought Tayuya angrily as she didn't want to be here for this conversation either. I didn't forget you, Tayuya-chan, nor did I forget about needing to check what's under my shirt, said Naruto as Tayuya needed to fight down a shiver. Naruto also teleported her out of there, leaving Jiraiya alone with Nagato and Konan. Tell me that story. Be sure to include the akatsuki part if you don't mind. Unlike Naruto's story, Jiraiya would stay and hear this story in its entirety. With Naruto, sometime later. And chakra is built. Alright, you ready, Gaara? Questioned Naruto, seated in a lotus position. Gaara nodded as Naruto opened his eyes. All 9 tomo spun as Naruto nodded back. Okay, this will hurt for a second. Gaara blinked as Naruto stood before him with a palm to his chest. The Suna nin's face twisted into one of pure shock as it felt like Naruto tore his body in half when he removed his hand. Sadly, it was kind of the truth. Naruto had ripped the Ichibi from Gaara's body when he pulled his hand back. Gaara's eyes closed as he fell backward and died on the spot. Fu stood to the side, watching as Naruto immediately summoned the King of Hell. Naruto's hair whitened again, and every tomo in his eyes vanished as the King of Hell spit a green chakra blob at Gaara's motionless body. The chakra absorbed into the redhead before the boy's eyes slowly reopened. Hagoromo was right. I'd have died trying this in Konoha after the invasion, said the white-haired Naruto, feeling incredibly weak. The restoration of a single life took this much from him. What would the 100+ in Konoha have done? Well, how do you feel? I feel like you killed me. Naruto-sama did kill you, informed Fu, getting Gaara's eyes to widen. He revived you a second later, but you were dead. It happens to all Jinchuriki who lose their Biju. And then I revived you. So yeah, said Naruto, getting Gaara to turn to him. Naruto grabbed a lock of his white hair and saw it very slowly fading back to its usual blonde. Took some of my vitality, but the Gedo Mazo will restore me soon. Shukaku is gone, said Gaara softly, no longer feeling the Biju's presence within. Typically, Gaara could hear the Biju talking in his mind or thrashing about against his seal. Now, there was silence. I can't believe he's gone. Indeed, Shukaku-kun's within me for now, said Naruto, growing interesting Juinjutsu markings across his body. A summoning array appeared below his feet as he put a hand to it. And now he's not. I hope you enjoy your new home, Shukaku-kun. Naruto lost the Juinjutsu markings before smiling. He then turned to Gaara. Remember, you're Shukaku's link. Per the agreement, he'll continue to protect Suna in exchange for his freedom. All you have to do is summon him. He'll listen to you and you alone, understood? Gaara nodded his head before standing back up. That would help when he told the council that he no longer housed the Ichibi. Sure, he wasn't a Jinchuriki, but Shukaku could be called at a whim. They'd be okay with the idea. A full-powered Biju beat an unstable Jinchuriki any day. Gaara was already getting used to the notion that Shukaku wasn't with him anymore. His entire life had been with the Sand Tanuki terrorizing him. With that no longer there, Gaara couldn't explain the joy he was feeling. It almost got his face to twitch into a smile. You okay, Gaara-san? Questioned Fu, getting Gaara to look at her. Yes, sorry, just hard to process when it has happened, said Gaara before he turned to Naruto. I only learned of this yesterday and expected a much longer wait. I figured I could find a way to repay you by then. Sadly, you moved faster than I expected. Please accept my verbal gratitude for the time being. Not a problem. And thank you. Shukaku-kun thanks you as well, said Naruto, whose hair was nearly back to normal. So, I'm going to hang here with Fu and do her next. You can stay if you want, hang out. No, thank you. As much as I enjoy Fu-san's company, I believe I will sleep. And with that, Gaara bid the two of them adieu. I hope you both enjoy your last night in Suna and the rest of your journey goes well. Bye Gaara-san, sleep well, chirped Fu as Gaara nodded to her. Hey, catch you later, Gaara. Contact me if you ever need anything. Gaara nodded to Naruto before vanishing in a Suna Shunshin. Naruto smiled heavily before smirking. He's probably going to sleep for a few days straight. Shukaku-kun kept him restless since they'd been together. I know, Shukaku-kun told me. Oh yeah, forgot you could talk with them too, said the whitish blonde as he nodded. Naruto realized she'd spent a lot of time conversing with the Biju within the plane since getting her gift. Alright, your turn Fu. Let me build this chakra. Okay, Naruto-sama, said Fu taking a seat. He'd returned to his lotus position as he went about collecting nature energy. Can you tell me more about Hagoromo's life in the meantime? Sure, what do you want to hear? About his family. Did he have any? Did he? Yes, his wife was smoking hot, said Naruto with a smile remembering the woman. He had 2 sons too. One was awesome. The other was too but misguided. Ashura and Indra were their names. Let me tell you the one of how Hagoromo chose his successor. Fu grinned in excitement as Naruto relayed to her the past. It would take a few hours for him to return to full power. And he chose the perfect story to make those hours breeze by. He'd do the same to her as he did to Gaara once he was finished. The next day, somewhere in the land of wind. This seems like a good spot to stop for the night, said Jiraiya finding a decent area for camping out. Dumbass. Jiraiya frowned as Tayuya shook her head. We're in a desert. Everything's been sand since we started. It's all technically a good spot to stop. Whatever Pinky, you know what I meant. Tayuya growled at the nickname as Jiraiya ignored her. Just set up your tent and go to bed. Tayuya mumbled under her breath as she did just that. Naruto and Fu had already moved to do the same thing. Tayuya pulled her tent out only to hear Naruto speak a moment later. Good night, see you all in the morning. Everyone blinked before turning to see Naruto closing his constructed tent. The kid must be tired. Let's follow suit, shouted Jiraiya getting everybody back busy. Got a long walk to the next village. Eventually, tents were up as the group of 4 settled in for the night. Once a few hours passed, Tayuya's earrings glowed pink. A poof of smoke occurred behind the girl as she heard a sleepy voice. I can see why you hate that. Glad you can. Tayuya turned to Naruto, hearing him speak. His eyes were closed, not that she could see in the darkness, as he breathed in and out slowly. Tayuya was staring at where she figured his face to be as she greeted him. Hi, Hige. Hi Tayuya-chan, hummed Naruto keeping his eyes closed. What's up? I can't sleep. So you decided to wake me up to keep you company? Sort of. It's just, you're the reason I can't sleep, admitted Tayuya seeing his Rinnegan open slowly and glow in the darkness. He held her gaze perfectly as she continued. You've been acting like a pussy since yesterday. It irks me. Naruto sucked his teeth before closing his eyes again. Tayuya smiled before inching closer to the Rinnegan user. I figured I'd ask what's up when I got the chance. You want to talk about it? If I recall, the last time I tried, you told me you didn't care. This isn't a rhetorical question, is it? Well, I care this time, so no, it's not rhetorical, said Tayuya lowly, getting Naruto's eyes to open again. She marveled at his Rinnegan. As I said, you're a buzzkill like this. So, I want to help. Tell me what's going on. All of this is becoming too much to handle. What's all of this? The burden of being endowed with great power. And the responsibilities handed to me because of it. What if I fail? You can't fail. You're you. You're too strong to fail. A lack of strength isn't why I think I'll fail. What if I fail because I have too much of it? Questioned Naruto getting a raised eyebrow from Tayuya. Nagato had this vision. Bringing world peace by creating a superweapon with the Biju. He would create peace by having everyone live in fear. Continued Naruto as his eyes glowed brighter in the darkness. The glow was enticing as Tayuya found she couldn't look away. The way I'm progressing, I'll be stronger than Hagoromo even without the 9 Biju within me. I'll be in superweapon territories, and my allegiance is to a soul village. People will fear Konoha simply because I fight for it. You're already in superweapon territories. I mean, people hail you as a god, remember? I'm reminded almost daily. And don't be stupid. You're as much Konoha as Konoha is you. Even if you left, you'd still protect it the same way. True, I guess what I'm getting at is, what if my offering of peace and its acceptance is because I scare people into it? I'd be no better than Nagato then, even if by accident. Hige. Then there's this journey, stressing me out by being so popular. Not 3 months ago, I felt worthless and invisible to my own home. And now today, I'm the most popular person on the planet, said Naruto letting out his inner turmoil. The tomo in his eyes began to spin sporadically. Tayuya took it as a physical representation of his current mental state. Spoke with my mom and dad for the first and last time, last night. Pops told me there's someone more dangerous than Nagato trying to dominate the world. Some guy who even scares the fourth Hokage has got to be strong. Tayuya's eyes widened. Did Naruto just say he was the son of the Yellow Flash? I have 6 more Biju, Jinchuriki to meet and speak with. I have to figure out how to create world peace for Nagato, who returned to Omegakure to lead his people properly. Also, there are foes stronger than Hagoromo's mom likely coming to invade our planet in the not-so-distant future. Quote. Tayuya didn't know how to respond. I can keep going if you want. Tell me when to stop. My brain is overloading, spoke Naruto, staring into the brown eyes of Tayuya. I wanted to ask you what was under my shirt yesterday but I couldn't. I have work to do, and I don't think stopping to smell the roses is something I can. Stop, said Tayuya, getting Naruto to quiet down. Tayuya marveled at his obedience before putting a hand to his cheek. You sound like a pussy. You know that, don't you? I feel like a pussy. I didn't ask for this. No, but you have it, so stop bitching. You're you, right? Questioned Tayuya, getting no response from Naruto. Tayuya glared at him as Naruto gave her an eye roll. Naruto nodded his head as Tayuya smiled. Then that's all you need to know. You know who you are, I know who you are, and so does the world. Sure, you have a lot on your plate but I know you can handle it. How do you know? Because you force me to believe in you. You force everyone to by just being you, said Tayuya, giving Naruto a small kiss. Tayuya stayed close as she continued speaking. You're amazing, you're frighteningly strong, and you'll solve it all. I know you will. I have faith. Faith. Please don't start calling me God. Trust me, I won't. I did it the first time as a statement, said Tayuya, giving Naruto another kiss. She smiled as she continued talking. And I did it this second time to lighten the mood. I won't do it a third time unless you get grumpy again. I'm not grumpy. You look grumpy. I don't look grumpy. Yes, you do, and I can't even see. Naruto surprised her with a peck on the lips in return. Thank you. You're not welcome, so don't mention it. I'm tired of being your therapist, said Tayuya, turning over before backing into Naruto. Naruto blushed as Tayuya coddled into his body nicely. She threw one of his arms around her and held it close as she closed her eyes. Now, air out all your feelings. Get them out now, so you can stop being a pussy before we get to the next village. You can't seriously want to hear all of this. I do. It might help me fall asleep listening to your boring ass. Naruto's lips drooped into a frown. I'm not boring. Hagoromo split the 10 tails into 9 beasts and blah blah blah. You're boring. Only Fu finds those interesting because she's curious about everything. But you being boring is good for me right now since I'm trying to find something to fall asleep to, said Tayuya with a smile, hearing Naruto grumble under his breath. Tayuya then felt the need to address something immediately. You better not get any ideas, by the way. Any ideas? None of the ideas. We're not a couple. Your lips are nice, is all, said Tayuya, closing her eyes. And I'm not easy. I need several more months to determine if you're worthy or not. Do something perverted, and I'm throwing you out of my tent. You're the one who little spooned into me. I didn't summon you to my tent in the middle of the night. Tayuya's eyes snapped open as her cheeks heated up. She didn't like where Naruto was going with this. You know, if I were a guessing man, I'd say you're the pervert. You keep kissing me and… Shut up, Hige. Just talk about your feelings. Naruto laughed lightly in the girl's ear after she cut him off. You want to hear my feelings? Yes, it'll help me sleep. Probably help you too. Okay, well, I feel like I want to know what was under my shirt yesterday. Tayuya smiled. You have to stop listening to dumbass. That line didn't sound nearly as good as you thought it did. Really? I'd have thought you'd turn back over and kiss my face some more. Maybe if I get bored, I might. Naruto laughed before shaking his head. Deal. Alright, so it started. Boring. And thus, Tayuya rolled over before kissing the Jinchuriki some more. The next morning, whistling a tune to himself, Jiraiya sat before a fire, getting breakfast ready. He was usually the first one awake and took it upon himself to feed his little group. Well, Naruto's technically the leader of the group. He's the only reason we're on this trip in the first place. Thought Jiraiya as he made breakfast. He took out Orochimaru, destroyed the majority of his bases, defeated the leader of Akatsuki, and separated and rescued 3 of the Biju. All in less than a month. The kid is a workhorse. And it was true. Naruto had yet to take a day for himself. Even on the trip, he was still busying himself with trying to do everything. It was okay, but Jiraiya didn't want his latest student to lose himself. Sometimes, you got to relax. I'll make sure he slows down during this trip. We have a lot of places to hit in the next part of the world, so it should help him, thought Jiraiya as he smiled to himself. And I'll make sure the kid has someone to talk to about all of this. In fact, I'll go get him now. Good morning, Jiraiya-sensei. Good morning, said Jiraiya absent-mindedly as he waved to Naruto. Naruto waved back as the Sannin looked at Naruto's tent. Alright, let me go wake him up and see if he— Jiraiya stopped himself as he turned back to see Naruto sitting on the other side of the fire. He looked relaxed as Jiraiya quirked an eyebrow. You look a lot better. Sleep good? Thank you. I feel a lot better. And sleep? No, I didn't get much of it. Jiraiya's confusion was palpable as Naruto smiled. But, what I did get was great. You made breakfast? Jiraiya nodded as Naruto nodded back. Naruto held the ram seal before beginning to get plates out. Tayuya-chan and Fu should be coming out shortly. Want some help in doling out the meals? Go for it. Naruto smiled again before doing just that. Good morning, Naruto-sama. Fu emerged from her tent first as Naruto greeted her. The chipper girl was enthusiastic as usual as she turned to Jiraiya. Good morning, Jiraiya-sama. Thank you for breakfast. Good morning, Fu, and no problem. Jiraiya watched the tanned skin girl get her plate from Naruto before settling down to eat. Good morning, dumbass. Jiraiya frowned as he turned to see Tayuya emerge from her tent as well. Tayuya-chan, said Naruto getting her plate ready as the musician grumbled under her breath. Fine, good morning, Jiraiya-sama, said Tayuya putting on a smile before dropping it immediately. She then walked over to Naruto before planting a huge kiss on him, right in front of Fu and Jiraiya. Naruto's eyes were wide as Tayuya looked at Jiraiya and Fu while pointing to the blonde. Just a boy toy. We're not dating. Got it? Got it, shouted Fu, who went back to eating her breakfast. Jiraiya smirked before nodding his head as well. He merely pulled out his notepad before writing a few things down. If I end up in one of your perverted books, even as inspiration, I want 30%. Jiraiya blinked hearing what Tayuya said. 10%, 30%, 15%. Hige, could you? No, I'm still not getting between you and sensei, said Naruto handing the girl her plate as he began making his own. What you and he discuss are what you and he discuss. Tayuya pouted as Jiraiya grinned. 10%, what the hell? You can't go down, shouted Tayuya, grumbling a few swears before she sat beside Naruto to eat. Not going to keep negotiating with him, Tayuya-chan? Shut up and eat your food. I'm going to teach you how to play the shamisen first chance I get once we're out of this stupid desert. What else are you going to teach him? Questioned Jiraiya, getting Tayuya to choke on the food in her mouth. Jiraiya grinned before throwing more fuel on the fire. Or what did you teach him last night? You know these tents aren't nearly as private as you think. Fucking pervert. Tayuya's face was a deep red as she turned away from everyone to eat. Naruto just smiled as he shook his head. The training trip was getting to be a little fun now. 20%, and I'll tell you what she taught me, sensei. Tayuya's jaw dropped as Jiraiya grinned. You got a deal, kid. Tayuya just turned to Naruto with a deadpan stare. I don't like you. I don't like you, Hige. I hope you know that. Naruto just laughed in response. He was beginning to enjoy this trip. That's all for now. If you enjoy, then please like, share and do comments.